Good morning. This is the Charles Van Morgan Show. We're broadcasting now in the morning. We may show up at any time, boots on the ground with live breaking news. So we have a interesting commentary for you this morning. We've been broadcasting live in the morning for over a month now and have gotten tremendous support from you all, the public. We thank you all so very much. We broke over 20,000 people yesterday, almost 30,000 viewers. So we are getting the word out. Thank you all so very much. Come on in, Charles Van Morgan Show. We're broadcasting now from in the morning, but we may show up at any time with boots on the ground, broadcasting live news. So it is the Charles Van Morgan Show. Today we have a very interesting show. We are going to discuss power groups, vested interest groups, and pressure groups. And we're going to talk about how they overcome the mass citizenry and they get their will in spite of your will. Good day from mate is 8:56 p.m. Thursday night here in Brisbane, Australia. Hope all is well. Hey, thank you so much, Joe Cool. Welcome. Come on in. So like, share, comment. It is the Charles Van Morgan Show, live, boots on the ground. And we've got a great show for you today. Done a lot of research and looked into some stuff that we're going to see what you all think about it. Going to maybe enlighten you about a little bit of propaganda from these, some of them pretty rogue groups. So come on in, enjoy the show. We're going to talk about different groups in society that adversely affect you. Power groups, vested interest groups, and pressure groups, how they have taken control of society in an adverse way against the populace, and how they control you from a sociological, scientific standpoint. We're going to define those issues and talk about what we can do about them. It's important to you because they're involved in a lot of propaganda, a lot of false information that they put out to you that guides a lot of public opinion that is false. They're very deceptive people wielded by a lot of money, a lot of power, and a lot of influence, and it shouldn't be that way. So they want us to be apathetic, just public apathy, and just go along with the program, believe what we're told, and don't stand up against them, because they have a vested interest, some of them, in the status quo that benefits them. Now normally, in a just and fair society under our Constitution, the government and people in power should be set up to benefit the mass citizenry. But when it comes to a point that these interest groups step all over the Constitution, get the benefit of you, and do not benefit the mass citizenry and defy the Constitution, then that's a point where we need to do something about it. So let's look at what we are stacked up against. It is pretty awesome, the power and influence that these crooks have over us. And it's pretty daunting and that's the reason why things are as bad as they are. That's the reason why things are as horrific and horrible as they are, because of power groups, vested interest groups, and pressure groups that form and that have been formed for a long time, that guide public policy with their false propaganda. They put people in office and they control our government for them. And there's several means of propaganda that they use to convince you that their way is better for you, and it's not. It just benefits you. So that's what we're up against. That's why it's hard, difficult, if not almost impossible. I don't think it's impossible to have a society, a just, fair society. Because if you think we have a just, fair society right now, under the status quo, under the power groups, the vested interest groups, and the pressure groups, if you think it's a just, fair society for the mass citizenry, the mass populace, then this is the wrong show for you. Because that's not the way it is. If you think that something's gone wrong, very bad in the system, that maybe what you've been told by almost everybody except for Charles Van Morgan, Unbridled News, and there are maybe a few others that are going to tell you the truth about things. It is not a just, fair society. We have so much propaganda and lies and deceit, it's hard to know what to believe. And I'm here to sort out the conflicts and show you what to believe for your own sake. Not these people in power that want you to work very hard for them, want you to suffer and sacrifice so that they can reap the benefits of your hard work in your society, and you can praise and worship them and listen to their baloney propaganda. If you believe that we can make it a more just and fair society, more safe, then this is the right show for you. Part of the way we can do that is knowledge. Know what they're doing and counteract it. Think about things. Don't have apathy. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning. One of the important ways they do it is propaganda. They're involved in it heavily, deeply. And propaganda can be a good thing. I'm involved in propaganda every day. Truthful propaganda. I'm putting out the truth to you. But you won't hear it anywhere else. It's dangerous too, because it goes against the people in power that have bought elections and bought positions of power that would like to shut me up. So I won't awaken the citizenry, the mass citizenry, because there's more of you than there are them. They're way outnumbered. They got to have a little facade that you can't do anything about it. They got to have this facade that they're serving you. They got to put out their false propaganda, and it is all aimed at keeping themselves in power. And there are ways and tactics and techniques from an educated perspective that we, the main citizenry, the populace, all of us can wipe them off the map. There's so many of us. And we can gain power and have a more just and fair society. Imagine that. I have a dream. Dr. Martin Luther King called it. I have a dream that society can be fair and just for all citizenry of the United States of America, and in your country, wherever you are. Have a dream that we can have a fair and just society, more fair and just. It's never going to be perfect. I get that. So let's sit around and say, well, since it ain't going to be perfect, let's just take this. Well, the problem with that is it's getting so bad, you're not even going to be able to eat if it keeps going on. They'll feed you enough to keep you alive to have their vast bounties and their vast meals, and you got to work for them. And they will keep you alive enough to give you, so you can have enough tax money to pay them. They will exploit you, which is what they do, what they continue to do by gaining power. So we can't have apathy. We got to do something about this. The books I've been reading are books from the 60s and also current books, and things haven't gotten much better, and things that were predicted in the 60s have taken place by these vested interest groups. They wield so much power and so much money and influence by buying it, by the propaganda they put out. It's pretty disgusting. And you can see the disgusting things that are going on in society right now where they use you up, and then when you get older, there's not even hospitals for you to go to. There's going to be older people as well as little children starving in the next few days, and they would have you to believe that that's not true, but it is absolutely true. And there are extremist views that are just out to starve everybody out, and they don't even care. That they're wicked, corrupt, cruel people that have infiltrated some of these government agencies, some of these power groups, some of these vested interest groups, and some of these pressure groups. But there are segments of some of those groups that we can negotiate and that we can talk to, and that we can gain advantages for a better, more just society, because some of them, in and of themselves, those groups are not totally beyond compromise and repair, because it's better for them. So we're not going to deal with the extremists. We're going to deal with the power groups, the vested interest groups, and the pressure groups. But first we need to get their attention. First we need to show them that we can punch them in the damn face. We might be able to punch them and stagger them and knock them complete the hell out, because there's more of us. If we can wake enough people up, I don't know, you tell me. But at a minimum, and I think we can, at a minimum, symbolically, NBC, don't arrest me. I'm not talking about literally punching these people in the face. I'm talking symbolically regaining our government institutions for the mass populace, and there's a way to do that through staggering them, through symbolically punch them in the face and show them who's the boss. And we're consumers. We're the most. There's evidence to show that we are a powerful group, consumers. I mean, businesses can't sell if nobody buys. So there are tactics and methods involved in, organizations and different pressure groups, power groups, and vested interest groups that don't go along with the program of our program, the mass populace and the mass citizenry, and a better, more fair, just society. Then we can not buy the products, try to put them out of business, blackball them, brand them truthfully, explain exactly what the dirty they're doing. Politicians that don't go along with our program, we can blackball and brand them. That's exactly what I'm doing. It's not pretty work. It's not pretty. They brought it to this, not me. They're the ones that drug it here, and they're the ones that drug it here. I didn't do it. We're just trying to take back what's rightfully ours. They shouldn't have took it in the first damn place. So we're just fighting back, and it's not pretty and pleasant, but it's their fault, not ours. So let's fight these dirtbag criminals and tell you some of the tactics they use, so you can be aware of them, not be influenced as much by these power groups, these vested interest groups, and these pressure groups. And if you think I'm making this stuff up off the top of my head, then look it up in a sociology book. They're in there. Look up the definitions. They've been around and around and around. They've been studied and analyzed, and they still put out their propaganda this day. And now in modern technology, in 2025, somebody like me can pick up a cell phone with internet access and YouTube if they don't ban me off YouTube. And I'm not saying anything violent. I'm saying we need to get together and put out truthful propaganda, truthful information that sways the public in their own favor. In their own favor. I'm for the populist. I'm for the mass citizenry. They are for their little special interest. And they promote their special interest. And they get in power. And they abuse their power and abuse you and exploit you. And that's the reason why things are so bad. because of these special interest groups, these power groups, these vested interest groups, and these pressure groups. That's why things are so bad, because the extremist part of them have gone rogue. And we're going to talk about some of their tactics. One of their main tactics is propaganda, false propaganda. So in 2025, we can put out truthful propaganda. Thank you all so much, coming up on 1 million people that we've talked to for quite a bit of time, that we've gotten the message out about power to you, the people. And remember the acronym VOTE, Voters of Truth, enraged right now. And we'll change it when we get in power. Voters of Truth encouraged. And I'm an optimist. I believe that we can make the world a more just, fair society for you. We're hoping to be a power group with money and resources, a power group for the mass populace that's not full of propaganda that just fills my back pocket and other people's special interest back pocket, that don't have the mass citizenry involved, that don't step on the public's right. We're hoping to be it'll take a while, vested interest. You got to have a long time. We're not vested interest because we haven't had, we're not even in power yet. We're completely outside the vested interest. They've been around a long time. Set the stage where they stay in power, and they got a big microphone and a big stage, and they've been vested for a long time and have a huge stake in keeping things the way they are because they benefit them. So we're trying to get our stage, and which is right now 2025, where you can have a cell phone and you can have books and knowledge and life experience and their education, that they blackballed you out of the mainstream, which is actually the lamestream. So you can pick up a cell phone and you can present your argument to the mass citizenry, the populace, for a more fair, just society that benefits you. That's a social movement we're involved in, and we can make a difference. Let's get off the road here. Cars coming, so we won't get run over both ways. So we got boots on the ground. We're out here in the public. One of the most dangerous things I do is speaking out against the people in power, speaking out against those three groups: power groups, vested interest groups, and pressure groups. That's one of the most dangerous things I do, speak out against their propaganda. Another most dangerous thing I do is boots on the ground out here in the public, presenting my case to the populace, you, the jury. And if you think things are going good and these groups are fine and we ought to keep things the way they are, and you keep voting the way a lot of people are, or not voting, then I'm probably not the right channel for you. If you think that we can have a more just, fair society, that you're being lied to, cheated on, manipulated, and exploited by people who have gotten power wrongfully by deceit and deception and false propaganda, then this is the channel for you. Then you're in the right place. We're putting out truthful information, and we're not talking about any kind of violence. Not any kind of violence. Vote. That's what the FBI, TBI, THPP, and all these law enforcement agencies, CID, and all these law enforcement agencies hate about me, is they were just waiting for me. They're monitoring this channel, don't doubt. I know they are for a fact. They're monitoring this channel. And they're waiting for me to say, let's do something violent. But I'm not going to say that, because I don't believe in that. But here's the problem. Here's the big problem. Listen to this. They do. And that's why this is the most dangerous thing I do. Boots on the ground, secondary. The most dangerous thing is saying the truthful stuff. And the most dangerous thing I do, and this is what's so horrific about it. This is what's so horrific. If you don't get anything, then get this one point. The most dangerous thing I do, and the most dangerous thing you can do against them, the most dangerous thing I do that can cause me mass trouble, and this is why you should support the channel, because not anybody can get out here and speak against people in power. It's dangerous. You pick up a cell phone if you don't, and internet access and talk worldwide, just about your state government, about people in power, and about rogue judicial rulings, and see how easy that is to do. And think about it in your own mind. Maybe I ought to just keep my damn mouth shut and go along with the program so I won't get hurt. So if you think this is easy and all these detractors on here, go right ahead. If you think that's going to slow me down, I'm a hell of a lot braver than you. Once you get off my channel, or actually I prefer you on your channel, spreading your baloney. If you really have any guts, get off your channel, pick up a cell phone, and get out here and speak against the government or stuff you don't like, and see how easy that is. So that's the most dangerous thing I do. Speaking against propaganda, I'll lead the movement. I know the difference between cover and concealment. And I know how to protect myself the best I can. And I pray to God that God's safety, health, protection, well-being. The most dangerous thing I do, and we'll make it kind of comical, but it ain't comical. It's very serious. Is say, everybody get together, the populace, and go vote. And I have to hide because the people in government power don't want you to do that. Because if you get up and vote, or if you've already voted and you start listening to some of the stuff I'm saying, you start saying, yeah, that's why do I not have medical care? Why don't I have appropriate medical care in the richest country in the world, in the most populous country in the world? For them, not you. Because it's set up by them against you for them. That's why they don't want me saying that. That's why I can't say go vote. Because there's more of us than there is them. There's more of us. They need to pay their fair share. They don't like me saying that. They put out propaganda by the truckload. Some of it is so blatantly obvious. It's so disgusting. Some of the stuff they put out that they expect you to believe. It's just awesome. And they've gotten so used to lying that they've forgotten that they need to cover up their damn tracks. They don't even cover up their lying tracks. It's so obvious to figure out the lies that they're telling you. It's so blatantly obvious and easy and so disgusting, and it's easy for me to point out, and I can point it out all day long, the discrepancies and the lies and the propaganda that they put to you to promote their way of life, their power group, their vested interest group, and their pressure group, because it benefits them. And the problem is, I'm all for benefiting them. The problem is it benefits them at your expense. It takes away from you. It gives them what they don't deserve and what's not owed to them, especially in the United States of America, where everyone has equal rights. They take your equal rights away, where everyone should have the same opportunities, and they take those opportunities away from the mass citizenry, and it's in the group of a small group of people. It's an oligarchy. It's public corruption at its damn worst. And it has gotten so bad that here in a few days, people are going to start starving to death. Now, they won't tell you that. I'll tell you that. You think they cut the food stamp program out, the EBT cards, that people aren't going to go hungry? People rely on that. And they'll put out the propaganda that if you don't work, you don't eat, the Christian thing. And I'm a Christian. I believe in Christianity. What about the Christian part about how Jesus fed the 5,000? They didn't work for it. He fed them. If you don't work, you don't eat is for people that can work and refuse to work and that want to steal. And if they go hungry long enough, maybe they'll think about their theft and their laziness and start contributing to society. There's a lot of people that contribute to society in numerous great, fantastic ways that don't get money for it, that are going to go hungry in the next few days. There's people that have spent their whole life working hard at factories and working hard at minimally paid jobs that benefit these people in power, that benefit the power groups, that benefited the vested interest groups, that benefited the pressure groups, that are no good to them now because they're old and can't work, that are going to go hungry. And you tell me, if you tell those people that are older, that can't work, if you don't work, you can't eat. Really? I mean, we used you up, so we're going to kick you out and let you die. And that's what these people would do, and tell you it's all right by the holy word of God. That's not what the holy word of God says. It's not at all. The holy word of God says to love your neighbor as yourself. And I'm not saying we need to set up a government where we have to say that everybody has to believe the Bible, but the biblical principles, the worldview in the Bible are, in my view, from God. And anybody, even people that aren't Christian, would tell you that the Bible has some great principles in it. You think? Maybe it's because of who created the world, in my view. But even if you're not Christian, you got to admit, you have to admit that Jesus Christ, at least, and I believe much more, but I'm trying to convince all, and I would ask you to consider accepting the Lord Jesus Christ into your heart and life, and asking Him to help you and forgive you, and asking and become a Christian, a follower of Jesus Christ. That's what I would ask you to do. But if you don't, everybody's got a free choice. I wouldn't shove that down people's throat. Jesus Christ doesn't do that. He asks you. But if you don't want to, hey, that's your choice. My choice was to become a Christian. I'm not saying I'm a very good one, but you've got to admit, if you don't want to become a Christian, I've talked to good people that aren't Christian, that at this point, but you've got to admit, at the minimum, the greatest thinker ever lived, Jesus Christ was a great thinker, that He had some pretty good ideals for the mass populace, for the mass society that have stood the test of time. And if you think that people should go hungry, that we shouldn't have a social welfare net that's getting ready to end, I mean, it is, then you're an extremist that has no intent on public welfare or public good, that doesn't care about little children. You won't say that, but that's the truth. And your intent is to cause public evil and discord among the mass citizenry. And I've talked to the mass citizenry in Tennessee, and they don't believe that for 10 seconds. And you're an extremist that we need to clobber, that we can have no association with, can have no agreement with. And they're on this channel. Let them talk. They show how extreme they are. They show how disgusting and despicable and extreme viewpoints that they have. And if you are of the opinion that we shouldn't have a federal food stamp program to feed the hungry that can't work, the handicapped and the hungry and the elderly and little children, and to have a safety net when people have mass social problems where they can't afford to eat, if you're of that opinion that we shouldn't have that program, that we ought to leave that in the hands of churches and the public at their goodwill, if they should happen to be in the right situation to be able to give it, and that's the answer, then I can't. You're an extremist, and I can't deal with you. Can't talk to you. If you're of the opinion that the Social Security program shouldn't be in effect, I can't. That's public good, and that's something that benefits all of us. I can't deal with you. Can't talk to you. A lot of these extremist views have infiltrated our government, and that is what the problem is. That's what the problem is. They don't intend to deal with people. They don't intend to be fair. They don't intend for anything except to cause mass destruction and sorrow. And even people in some of these groups know who they are, but they think they have to work with them because they're part of their group. There's some good people in the Republican Party that are great people. They have some great, fantastic views. I usually vote Republican because of some of the core fundamental beliefs. Some of the core fundamental beliefs of Republicans I don't agree with. Some of the Democrats are some of the best people that you could ever talk to. They have some of the most core foundational beliefs that I have. There's one or two of the core fundamental beliefs that I have that they fool themselves into believing I can't go along with. I can't go along with. The core fundamental beliefs that I have are that both these parties have gone extremist, and they're rogue, and they don't even care to help anybody but themselves, and spread mass chaos and destruction and destroy our country from both parties. We can't deal with those people. We can deal with some Republicans, and we can deal with some Democrats. They are good people from both parties. That's one of the tactics, is divide and conquer. And I'm reaching the olive branch out to both parties, to look at the extremism in your groups, and look at the groups that don't want to benefit the mass populace and the mass society, and look at your own vested interests, and consider, when you lay your head down and take your last breath, have you loved your neighbor? Have you made a world that's better for everyone, for the mass populace, for the dream of America, for equal opportunity? Or have you been a glutton and taken all the power and all the resources and all the money for yourself and giving it to your family frivolously off the work, the hard work, and the backs of innocent people? Now, I prefer to make it a better world for everybody based on education and knowledge. So we're on the way to the bridge. We're going to talk about these groups, and we're going to talk about the propaganda that they put out, and we're going to talk about the social movement vote, a way to make it a better, just, and fair society. But I'd be lying to you if I told you we don't have our backs up against the wall. We don't have a very difficult task of overcoming the atrocities that are allowed to go on. But I believe that there's hope. Consumer groups have a lot of power, and we're consumers, and we have more votes than they do. We have a heck of a lot more votes than these people do. They put people in power by their proxies, by the people that they do special favors for. A lot of favors, extreme amount, abusive favors that they just hand them money, hand over fist, that you pay for. And these proxies, there's a significant number of people that they know vote. They know they can pay them to vote for them. They know when they give them special privileges and benefit in society, it's like a revolving circle. They'll put it back in the circle to them, and they have gotten such power and such benefit and such privilege that it's even bad for themselves. And so disgusting, these people. And then they give, once they got their proxy tells you, and they spread the message that these people are good people, and anybody that's against them they try to destroy. Anybody that's for public safety, and anybody that's for the masses population, for a better, more just society, then they will try to destroy you and spread false propaganda about you at the destruction of the masses, which is what they tried to do to me. On the screen, you'll see a newspaper, and they put out their propaganda in the news. Charles Van Morgan puts out his truthful propaganda, almost going on 1 million people. Now, they'll try to stop me. Don't be surprised. The way we can not be stopped is through power. My power is in knowledge, fortitude, integrity, and knowing the truth, and been to their schools, know their battle game plan, which is dirty and disgusting, and not going along with the program, and in a worldwide internet connection hooked up to YouTube or Facebook. They've kicked me off Facebook at times because I have the audacity to stand against the people in the system. I have the audacity to stand against the power groups, the vested interest groups, and the pressure groups, and say they don't stand for the mass populace. It's not a fair, just society. It's a fair and just society for them that benefits them, but it doesn't benefit you. To try to awaken the populace. And because I do that, and the only way to do that is tell you the truth, and the truth ain't pretty. These people in power are disgusting as hell. They're dirty. They don't care if you live or die. They don't care if you starve or not. They don't care. The extremists in those groups have taken the hell over and are against you. Let's see how many people got in here. We'll continue talking about these special interest groups that put out propaganda that you may have believed. I believed it for a while. That are trying to get you to drink the Kool-Aid, and they're much worse than Jim Jones because they're not going to drink the Kool-Aid. They want you to drink it. They're smarter than Jim Jones. People will kill you on the way to work. So drive carefully. So let's see how many people got in here, and we'll continue and talk about a very important topic. We'll talk about what they're doing dirty, about their false propaganda, and we're going to talk about propaganda. And I'm putting out some truthful propaganda right now. Continue to put it out, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, they don't take me off YouTube. If they do, I should be on Rumble or Telegram or hunt me down on another channel, and I'll still be putting out the proof as long as we're funded. I mean, in a real society, it takes money to get a message out. I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. Now, I used to think we could do it in poverty, but we got to have money. And I've been doing this for about 5 years. So, if you want boots on the ground truth, unafraid, significantly, I'd be lying if I said I didn't watch my back, because these people are dirty as hell. But if you want unbridled news, boots on the ground, significantly unafraid, intelligently unafraid, then support power to you, the people. Support vote. We will wake up the populace and benefit our common man that we love as Christians and unchristians alike. So let's see how many people got in here. Continue this dialogue. We're on our way to the bridge. Got some notes for you today. And we studied all day to present you the truth and the facts from a sociological perspective. That's just the truth about things. It ain't the pretty truth. It ain't a pretty world, but we can make it better. So let's see how many people got in here. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining the show. If you can't contribute, then hey, that's fine. This isn't about money. It takes money. This is about awakening voters and awakening the populace to the false propaganda and getting in power, getting the people in power to vote. Let's see what we got in here. So thank you. Yeah, we got a few. Thoughts on Nick? If you into this, I don't know what you're looking at. Only 2 genders. That's right. I agree with that. Let's see. The parties are like sports teams. They sell jerseys, so people believe that they are on the same team, but those playing the game are not the people watching. Okay? Jesus Christ died on the cross, taking 100% of punishment for your sins. When you trust that he did that for you, your sins are forgiven and you will go to heaven when you die. Thank you for that comment. Grace, can't pronounce that full name. It's that true. Okay, I can't pronounce that name. Thank you for pointing that out. Like, share, comment, contribute. Series 5000. No, they just ship the work abroad. Yeah, that's right, they do. I bet that the chat says 5,000 different people a week, and on average, and one of you is smart enough to do your own research. yeah, one of you is smart enough to do your own research and look into the propaganda. And why is that person on here? Maybe it's because I'm stepping on some toes, and they're trying to put out their propaganda, which is false. So yeah, do your own research and drink the Kool-Aid if you want to. So yeah, thank you, Old Glory. I appreciate you. 4648. You're wonderful. And let me act like I'm. Oh, get off my channel. Oh, I'm so upset. Get off my channel. Yeah. Some people, boy, are so ignorant because they listen to use the manipulative and propaganda of good teaching and good works for wickedness. That's right. Suppose big companies replace workers with AI. Yeah, that's what they're doing, and AI is dangerous because the exact opposite of the Republicans. AI is dangerous because they only have the knowledge, the crazy but not as crazy as what your profile pic looks like from here. Okay. Ooh, somebody talking about the way I look. That's wild. So I got a profile picture of my Tennessee hat. Google is propaganda, but random people in a YouTube live chat, incredible resources. Some of them are, hell yeah. Hell yeah, they are. They sure are. So he probably flamed 119 cops, and the sheriffs went after him with a vendetta. Okay. So he's a attention-seeking old weirdo. Okay. I'm so you hurt my feelings so bad. My name is Charles Van Morgan. You idiot. And post your education and life experiences on here, and let's line them upside mine and see who's public attention. I worked at night by myself saving lives. I never wanted to be out in the public attention. They have put me out in the public. So you go where you can do the best good. I didn't choose that. They tried to choose it for me, so I use it against them. So that's the truth. I'm not public attention. I worked at night getting dangerous drunk people off the road by myself. And if you think I'm public attention getting, then yeah, right. So they have put me out in the public, and that's why I'm out in the public. I'm out in the public to defend myself against the rogue people in government power. So like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll continue with this dialogue about the people in power. The power groups, the vested interest groups, and the pressure groups. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about propaganda. So the algorithm's not doing me any favors today, and we're going to explain to you their tactics of propaganda and how we can work against it. I'm working against it right now by a cell phone and internet access, putting this out to almost 1 million people in the next few days, coming upon 1 million people. So this is a little truthful propaganda. I have a Master of Arts in Sociology, a advanced level degree. I know what I'm talking about. I have a Doctor of Jurisprudence. I have a law degree. And there are lawyers on here that have YouTube pages that are members of the bar, a power group, very powerful group. You don't think lawyers are one of the most powerful groups in the nation? I mean, it's the legal board, a legal power group. They're a power group, an unethical, worthless power group. That's what you won't hear anywhere else. The Tennessee bar is crooked as hell. They're a power group. There are lawyers that have YouTube channels. They have the same education as me. I got a Doctor of Jurisprudence. If I'm lying, let TBI agent that's in here listen to what I'm saying. Go check my education credentials, because it's a crime to say you got a degree that you don't have. So yeah, I got a Doctor of Jurisprudence. I went to their indoctrination school about the law and how they lie to you. Their law schools are law liars in order to get them rich and exploit the public. That's what their law schools are for. That's what their Doctor of Jurisprudence is, a good degree, but it's a degree from their perspective, And lawyers are out there to exploit you, to take your money. And if you don't give it to them, you go to jail. So how much more power could you have than a power group that can have you put in jail that's 100% controlled by the government? The government controlling the legal board that decides what kind of criminal defense you have. It's a monopoly. It's a power group that has a vested interest. They're not just a pressure group. They have the keys to the jail. They can throw you under the damn jail. So I lost a lot of people. Must have a lot of lawyers that follow me on here. It's a good riddance. Good riddance, creeps. You know what a million lawyers at the bottom of the ocean is? And this is just symbolically. It's a joke. TBI, don't put me in jail. You know what a million lawyers at the bottom of the ocean is? A good start. And the legal board is a vested interest power group that use money and power and propaganda to overwhelm the good of the populace, the American citizens. They lie, cheat, rob, and steal, rape, murder, all kinds of horrific things, and lock you up, take your freedoms away, and tell you we're honest, legitimate people. We're the Tennessee bar. We're the most finest in society. You believe that? You believe that propaganda? We put out rulings from unbiased judges that tell you the truth. It's all propaganda. Their rulings are dirty lies designed to lead you in a direction that's not even nowhere near the truth. Read some of their court rulings. And people say, oh, that's so beautiful, beautifully written. And then go to the scene and look at the facts, how they played out. And they're damn dirty lies. They add stuff, take away stuff, and they give themselves complete immunity. They can lie to you, lie. They can lie, and you can't even put them in jail. There's complete judicial immunity. You talk about a power group, that is the worst power group in the state of Tennessee. The worst whoremongers, the worst deceitful pieces of crap in the United States of America. I'm losing a lot of people. I must have a lot of judges on here. And not all of them are dirty. They got to go along with the program. Are the Tennessee judicial, the Tennessee judiciary. They lie. And the damn prosecutors, what a great bunch of winners they are. Make up stuff to put people in jail. And have bought judges that go along with what they're telling you. So here is everybody welcome. Like, share, comment. And subscribe to the show. So we're talking about power groups. These are groups that form and they pursue their interest, and it's fine if their interest is fair and consummate with the interests of the population. But it's not. It's not. And one of the worst special interest groups is the Tennessee bar. These are licensed attorneys, licensed lawyers, and judges in the Tennessee Crooked Supreme Court. A bunch of hoodlums, a bunch of dirty liars, a bunch of people that will benefit people in foreign countries above Tennesseans. We are the reason why the Tennessee courthouses have lights and power. We paid our taxes for years. And they let foreigners come over here. And when they have a dispute with Tennesseans, they open the courthouse doors and turn the lights on to hear a dispute between a foreigner and Americans and Tennesseans. And you pay for them to go into court and argue their cases. They shouldn't even have the courthouse doors open for people that aren't American citizens, that haven't paid their dues. This country's not free. It's built on the blood of our American soldiers that fought to keep our way of life, our Constitution. And then when you have people that you let over here from other countries, and they don't qualify to be lawyers because they don't have enough education, and that's already been pointed out, and they have a dispute, and the Tennessee judiciary gives them their law license, Mr. Guzman, above an American citizen, Charles Van Morgan, that does qualify. I passed the bar exam twice. And I would have represented you and Tennesseans, and when they allow their law license to them, and this is in documentation, and they give them their law license to represent a foreign country in our courts, that's what was on appeal, that he should be given his law license because he can do great things for Argentina in our country. So they allow him to come over here and infiltrate our court system, the Tennessee judiciary, Tennessee Supreme Court. If you want that to keep going on, keep voting for them in 2030 when they're up for re-election, and we'll have a judiciary eventually that is a bunch of foreign people, and they will adjudicate that you're not even allowed here. Right now, they're just denying law license. Pretty soon, they'll say, that house is not your house, it belongs to somebody from Argentina. And you'll say, no, I'll take them to court and sue them over that. And the Argentina will go to court and argue in front of the Tennessee Supreme Court, and the Tennessee Supreme Court will say, we adjudicate that it's their house. They control the levers of power. And if it's good for them, they want their votes, then you won't have a house. You won't have a place to live. You'll have to migrate to a foreign country. And it is getting that bad. When they have attorneys in Tennessee that do not have a selective service registration like I have, they do not have a birth certificate like I have, United States of America. When they have that, then there is a huge problem with our American judicial system that is a power group that has gotten a power grab that puts out propaganda to be elected that alleges that Tennessee courts in the state of Tennessee has more protection under the Constitution than other states, has more protection than the federal government, when in actuality they have less. This is a state that favors and gives and coddles and give privileges and power to illegal aliens, I call them, illegal foreigners, whatever you want to say. And people say, well, they're not illegal. They got American citizen status. Do they have a birth certificate in America? Do they have a selective service registration in America? No, they don't. Well, you say, well, they got American citizenship. Yeah, because the dirty court system gave them that. The court system adjudicated that. They can adjudicate any damn thing they want to, and they do all the time. They're adjudicating our rights away and giving it to other people in foreign countries, and it's not going to be the United States of America. It's coming to a one-world government. And you better find you a place, because you're not welcome in this state. The Christian Bill Lee promotes these people to public office based on they got him put in the governor's office. He'll go along with the program. The transvestite that the dirtbag is. So one of the most powerful groups that put out propaganda in their legal rulings. These are legal rulings that we're obligated to obey. So you tell me we don't need a more fair and just society when we got a judicial system in the state of Tennessee that adjudicates for people in foreign countries above us that live here, our families. Do you have kids here? Do you want foreigners to have more rights than them? Well, they do right now, today in Tennessee. In October 2025, foreigners have more rights than you do in this state of Tennessee. And under Republicans that lie. No, they won't tell you that. They won't tell you that to your face. That's one of the ways that they manipulate you. They say, what is good for us is we're on your side. It's good for you. We're representing you. That's propaganda. That's false. That's a dirty lie. They're not representing you. They're not representing you at all. They're representing foreigners. Look at their rulings. Read their rulings. There is a foreigner from another country, doesn't have a birth certificate. I got a birth certificate. You don't see it? Doesn't have a selective service registration. I registered for the selective service to fight, to keep our way of life, to keep our courthouses open. The foreigner, I would have had to fight him to keep the courthouse open that he uses today to fight me to represent the country. So they haven't infiltrated us with a gun. They've infiltrated us with propaganda and lies and infiltrated our courts and get their way because of power and money. Because of power and money, they bought their way through lies and propaganda in our court system, and you can't trust our court boards. You cannot trust a Tennessee court judge. You can't trust them. Not all of them are bad, but the ones that aren't bad have to go along with the program, or they'll do to them what they did to me. Adjudicate a lie and try to destroy their life. Now that's just the God's honest truth. If you want to go along with the program, go ahead. It ain't going along with you, I guarantee you. You're the biggest fool ever walked the planet. If you think this government in the state of Tennessee, the judiciary, that you can go into court and receive a fair, unbiased hearing, you're a damn fool. They will adjudicate whatever the governor tells them to adjudicate. If the facts aren't there, they'll make them up. Now that's just the honest truth about it. If you don't believe that, then you're probably part of the judiciary. And you want the lie to fly. Well, it ain't flying with me. And I'm putting out the truth against you. Nobody else does that. Charles Van Morgan, Unbridled. And thank y'all for listening. If you want some more of the truth, then I'll put it out to you. I'm not an extremist. They are. That's what part of their propaganda. They'll say that. And yeah, there's a sign there. So I'll take the high and mighty route now and act like I don't never jaywalk. TBI, FBI, THPP. I don't jaywalk. See, I'm not jaywalking because they'll find anything to stick me with because I'm saying they're dirty, dangerous, rogue criminals, probably. So they are. So that lady. So I'm not jaywalking. So we'll wait till the sign turns. Because if I commit a crime, they'll get me on video and come out and arrest me and say, well, he broke the law on video, and he's a rogue. He's a rogue. He is a rogue, dirty jaywalker, and we got him. We got him, and we'll shut down this worldwide mic for jaywalking. They probably would. I'm telling you. They got their eyes on me like a fly on you know what. We'll keep on walking and keep on looking because I don't intend to do anything illegal. I have to be careful that they don't kill me. I have to look out for snipers because they'll try to kill me on top of buildings because I say go vote because they know that they just have a proxy and they got propaganda that's false. They know what they're doing. It's too disgusting not to. Some of them hope that I win. Some of them in the Republican Party hope that I convince the populace of this. They don't want to because they know it'll destroy their life if they stand up for the truth, which they've tried to do to me. Some of the Democrats hope that I convince a lot of people because they're in the Democratic Party so deep they know how rogue they are their damn self. And there's some good people that are not extremists. The problem is the extremists have taken over. The extremists have taken over a court system for their own benefit. The colonel over the Highway Patrol is related to Supreme Court Justice, former Supreme Court Justice. Why do you think he's the colonel? Because he did a great job, saved, protected society, made a lot of drunk driving arrests, made their quota, made 100 drunk driving arrests a year like their quota, or do you think it's maybe he didn't do a damn thing? It's because of who's your daddy or who's your aunt or uncle, who's in the power elite, and that's the reason why that works against you. So we'll show you the beautiful view here. So like, share, comment, call your neighbor, tell them to join the show. Looks like the views are down today, but I'll put out the truthful message, even if it's to just a few, as long as I can. So look at the beautiful view, and there's the Gay Street Bridge, 1898, and there's the courthouse, and we're going to have a little ball game here tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Saturday, at that stadium right there. A little University of Tennessee Go Vols. So my blood is orange. So we go to the end of the bridge here. and set up shop. My pulpit is the bridge, and we're going to talk about power groups, vested interest groups, and pressure groups. And then we're gonna talk about what we can do about. We're gonna talk about propaganda. We've already started talking about the propaganda of the Tennessee judiciary, a wicked bunch, a crooked bunch, lie. And it's easy to point out their lies. They're in judicial rulings by so-called self-proclaimed unbiased judges, and they need to be put in jail. The travesty and the corruption and the devastation that they cause. And if y'all think I'm an extremist, if you think I'm an extremist, look at the roadway fatalities on Tennessee roadways. I was out serving the public. I was doing more than their quote of 100. I was doing what they said for me to do, but I was standing up against their corruption. So it doesn't matter about what saving lives. They got rid of me in the traffic fatality, and the Tennessee judiciary said that was all right. See, they didn't protect me because I'm not one of their children or their children's children, but your tax money pays for them. Your tax money pays for the judiciary, pays for the judiciary's family, and everybody that the judiciary wants to give money to make themselves look good when they're a bunch of dirty lying creeps, part of a power group. They ought to be part of a jail cell, part of a whole end of numerous jail cells that we need to put these Tennessee judges in. Yeah, I said that's the truth. They're dirty creeps. They're criminals. They just wrote the law where they can steal from you and it's legal. And they can make the roads more dangerous and write lies. The fatality rate is 45% higher on Tennessee roadways because of Tennessee judiciary. Tennessee judiciary have caused your family and friends to get killed. They're dangerous to themselves. So if you think I'm an extremist, they're extremists. They're causing people to get killed. Dead, real dead. And it's not, I can tell you that, but when you come up on the scene, when you've had boots on the ground, you walk up on the scene of dead children, and you see the mass casualties and the finality and the surrealness of real death and tragedy on Tennessee roadways, then it's not a joke, it's not funny. And these Tennessee judges allow that to happen, rule in favor of a crooked Tennessee colonel because I'm not one of their family members, and you're not one of their family members either. If you're a part of the mass populace of Tennesseans, you're not one of their family members either. They could care less about you. They could care less if you get killed on Tennessee roadways. Judges don't care. They care if one of their family members gets killed on Tennessee roadways. They care about their family and their friends, and the judiciary is crooked as hell. They put out propaganda, and I get this if you want to. I can't tell you what to believe, but I can put out the truth. They put out false propaganda that's detrimental to the populace, the citizenry in the state of Tennessee, this judiciary, in their legal rulings, in their court opinions, are false. They're wrong, they're lies, they're not true, that damages you and benefits rules for people in power, rules for their power group. That's what they do. That is wrong. It needs to stop. It's killing you on the roads every single day. It's even hurting some of them. They're so dangerous to themselves and others. That's just the truth. That's not an extremist view. They're extremists. They're causing death and destruction all across the state of Tennessee. The only people they want off the roads are not drunk drivers. They don't want drunk drivers off the road. The Tennessee judiciary does not want drunk drivers off the road. Y'all said that. They don't. They don't want drunk drivers off the road. They want to drive drunk on the roads, and they don't want sober people on the road because you're taking up their space where they can't drive down the road drunk. Now that's the truth, and that's not an extremist view. That's the truth. That's why they're increasing penalties on drunk drivers, which doesn't work according to scientific studies. Increasing penalties doesn't deter drunk driving. What deters drunk driving is arresting drunk drivers, taking the drunk driver from out of their car and taking them to answer for their deed that they did. And also, it's a social problem, the readily abundance of alcohol and lack of information out there about how dangerous that it is if it's not used in moderation, and if it is not socially controlled, not just laws, the acceptance of it, and where people stand up against it. They take your keys away if you're going to drive drunk and do things safely. And they don't care about the safety of people on the roads. They care about their safety of themselves. And they don't want drunk drivers off the road. They want all drivers off the road. That's why they're increasing the penalty of drunk driving. Now listen to what I'm saying, it's not extremist view. That's why they're increasing the penalties. They're out right now arresting people that aren't even drunk. So it's not about drunk drivers, it's about removing people off the road, charging them with drunk driving, and they're removing you and me. They're removing the mass populace from the highways. It's a resource that's limited. It's a limited resource. Under conflict theory, the roads are limited. There's not an unlimited number of roads. There's not an unlimited number of roads. There's a limited number of traffic, of roads that you can get places. That's a highly valuable resource, is roads. You can't just go through somebody's backyard. They can if they want to. If they want your backyard, they'll take it by eminent domain and make it a road for only them road, where you can't even use your backyard. They'll take whatever they want away from you and put it in a judicial ruling and make it law and say it's good for you. That's part of the propaganda, is they say stuff that they rule that's in their favor, that's completely for them. They allege that it's to your benefit to take your property, to take your roads, and everything they do adversely against you that causes you death, sorrow, and destruction is in your favor. It's called propaganda. That's not an extremist view. They'll take over your country. Militaries do that. Take over your country and put out propaganda, drop it out of an airplane, millions and millions of leaflets convincing you that for them to take over your country is the best thing for you. You want to buy that? Hey, go ahead. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for 10 seconds. Hopefully there's enough people that will resist that, because it won't get any better. It won't get any better. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Look at what they're doing to us. They're increasing penalties for drunk driving. Not to get drunk drivers off the road. They're arresting completely sober people. 100 people, it don't matter if they're drunk or sober. They want the roads cleared up. They want the roads cleared up so that they can drive drunk down the roads. They don't want you interfering with their drunkenness and their parties and driving down the road for the people in government power. And they want sober people off the road. They want all of us, the populace, off the roads. And they're getting that every day in their courtrooms. And you go to court and you're sober and they'll convict you. And that's just the damn truth of the matter. So let's see if we got some people on here telling the damn truth about stuff. I love, can't hear you. Okay. I'm sorry. Let's see. We turn up the mic here. Can y'all hear me now? What you doing? Can y'all hear me now? Brother, no one wants to hurt you. Grow up. Yeah, you're trying to hurt me with propaganda, aren't you? So look at the traffic backed up here. So let's talk about the Tennessee judiciary and the propaganda and the roads. So the roads are a limited resource. And consider this. The roads are a limited resource. They're backed up right now. This road's backed up. They don't want you on that road. The free right to travel. They want that road for themselves and their family and friends and their power group. So they're out here arresting people, charging them with drunk driving. They don't care about drunk driving, so that they can have the road for themselves. They want that road. They don't want you on it. They'll take your license away where you can't drive on the roads. They want you out walking. And they want you, while you're walking, you stay out of their damn way. You stay out of the way. It's their world. It's their state. It's their country. It's the Tennessee judiciary's state. And they will rule whatever they need to for the judiciary and the governor and the people in power. And it's their roads. And you vote for them and shut the hell up and get off the roads. That's the truth. That's not an extremist view. Look what they're doing to you. If they cared about drunk driving, they would have kept me on the roads, because I got drunk drivers off the road. The problem with me is I got drunk drivers off the road and I got them driving drunk off the road. You can't do that. They want the road so they can drive drunk on it. It's okay to drink and drive if you're one of them. That's the truth. If you don't believe that, you go to court where one of them has been so dangerous that some dumb cop like me, I'm saying that sarcastically, has put one of them in jail for their own protection. You find out what happens. An attorney will meet you in the back of the hallway, and say, "You arrested my daughter. How dare you do that? Don't you know?" That road is not for you. It's not for sober people. It's for my drunken daughter. You leave her alone. That's the Knoxville bar. They did that. And I said, wait a minute now. I protected her. What the hell's wrong with you, you stupid nut? And, you know, if they try to attack me violently, they know better than that. They know better than that. I come armed to the hilt legally, and self-defense is a God-given right. If they make it illegal for me to defend myself, I'll break the damn law. I'll defend myself. I'm not attacking anybody. You step on, you come to me and try to hurt me, and I'll hurt you bad. Don't do it. And everybody's got that right. Don't make it illegal for you to defend yourself. They'll try to. Trying to take our guns away right now. Tried to take my guns away several times. They tried to take my guns away. I don't intend to shoot anybody. I intend to shoot back. If they shoot at me, or they're going to, that's my God-given right. I know their law. They'll change their law, make it illegal for you to defend your damn self. I'm saying vote. Don't let it come to that. Don't let it come to that. Let's vote. They'd like to kill every one of us that ain't serving them. So they want roads for themselves. They've increased the penalty, so if you're driving down the road, they're going to stop you when you're not drunk, charge you with, those people are angels. Those firemen are angels. They're great people. They're part of the government that's good for you. So they're increasing the penalties for drunk driving coming up pretty soon in Tennessee. That increasing the penalties is not designed to get drunk drivers off the road. It's not, because they don't want to get them off the road. They drive drunk all the time. The only time you hear about a judge and drunk driving is when they drive so drunk that they get killed, because they've been stopped 100 times probably for drinking and driving, and a cop won't stop them. They can't. They're not supposed to. They'll end up like me, defamed and destroyed. But I'm not destroyed. They'll try to. So the drunk driving laws. So you're driving down the road completely sober, and the aim of the judiciary and the people in power is to control the roads for them and their family and their proxy and their power group. So what they'll do is they'll arrest you for drunk driving when you're not drunk. Look at all the people that are trying to say, hey, I wasn't drunk, and they arrested me. See what will be done about that? Nothing. Because it benefits the people in power. They don't care. They asked Cameron Sexton about it. Cameron Sexton, one in the legislature, that's one of in the power group, and he said, well, look at how many times they arrest people that are drunk, and it's not a problem. No, it's not a problem. It's because it's a benefit. And I don't know if he drinks, but so his proxies, his people in power can drive down the road drunk. It's not about getting drunk people off the road. So why is it a problem? They don't intend that in the first damn place. That's the propaganda. They intend to take control of the roads and get you off the road. So what they do is they increase the penalties. They arrest everybody and their brother, stick them with a DUI, stick them with a drunk driving charge, take your license from you, where if you get stopped again, you're out driving, you have to work, they take your license from you, and they arrest you and put you in a box so that you're in a box, controlled, and you can't drive on the road, so that they can get in their car and drive down the roads. They're not blocked by anybody. They have less people on the roads because you're in jail because they've lied on you, controlled you, and they can drive down the roads in their drunken, sorry state. So that's what the high level of enforcement. It's not enforcing the law against them. It's enforcing the control, the social control over you illegitimately, taking your damn roads away from you, taking your freedoms away from you. Before you know it, there won't be many cars on the road. If there's cars on the road, it's only for them, and they'll be drunk. Watch out, they'll be drunk, and they won't get stopped. They want the roads for their drunken self. You look at this Gay Street Bridge over here. It's closed down because they don't have the money to fix it. That's a dirty lie. That's a lie straight from hell. People believe that. Do you believe that bridge is broken because the whole city of Knoxville doesn't have the resources to pay to fix that bridge? They could build another one tomorrow. They could build one quick, fast, in a hurry. They don't want to spend the money on it. For one thing, they don't have to. It's not broke. Nothing wrong with that damn bridge significantly. That bridge was open from 1898 through the Depression. Poor people during the Depression that were starving to death almost had the money to fix that damn bridge They got the resources to fix that bridge. That's a lie. They're lying to you. They want that bridge closed for you, not for them. So they've rigged it. The bridge is closed, and they're going to open it up in a few days for government vehicles. You'll see government vehicles driving across that bridge. They may not, since I'm telling you this. You'll see the mayor driving across that bridge. You'll see the city workers driving across that bridge. You'll see police cars driving across that bridge in a hurry to arrest you for drunk driving when you're not drunk. I mean, at least consider my perspective and my point of view. It makes good sense, and it's from a sociological perspective from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. They're trying to take everybody off the roads. It's a resource they're trying to control. And that is what we're up against. And the judiciary will rule in their favor. They're part of the problem. Tennessee judiciary is part of the problem. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're up against. So crooked, so disgusting that it is unreal. That is what we're dealing with, is control, social control. Not for the mass populace, for the small group, the oligarchy, that wants the roads and don't want you on them because there's not enough room for you. They can less likely have an accident while they're driving down the road drunk if you're not on the road. There's not a sober person in the car that they can run into. So they'll start making the roads where they're drunk proof, where they can drive on it drunk. So yeah, these people are late for work and they break the law. These are the judges and the judiciary that do this stuff. So that's what we're up against. We're up against power groups that control the judiciary, that make things legal that should be illegal, that get foreigners law license and deny us law license, that give them legal status that shouldn't have, that people in power, in government power, are corrupt. Examples. They affect you adversely. And what we can do about it, and this is what they hate about me. I'm not saying do anything dangerous or illegal. I'm saying there's more of us, and there is more of us, but you got to be told the truth first, or you keep going along with the program. And in the future, you'll walk along with the program because you damn sure won't drive because they'll drive. You'll walk along with the program. That's what we'll do. We won't go along, we'll walk along because we won't be allowed to drive in cars. They're going to take that right away from us so that they can have their drunken parties and drive down our roads that our money pays for. And they'll let you walk as long as you keep a job and pay taxes to keep a road open for them. They're even going to open up roads. Now they're discussing open up roads that are roads that you can pay toll roads that only the super rich will be able to pay for. Those are rich roads. They'll give themselves exemptions where they don't even have to pay for that. So you'll have to maybe drive on the side road so that you can get to work and you can pay your taxes to support their free road that only a very few people can drive on. Their toll roads that they're talking about right now, claiming it's good for society. It's good for them. It's called propaganda. It's false information. None of it is true. None of it is. Listen to what they're trying to tell you and think about it. Think about things. Don't be apathetic. If it's coming from a government official, if it's coming from Governor Bill Lee, it's for him to get your tax money and for him to benefit him and his family. Because if he cared any damn thing about anybody in this country, he would feed little children and the elderly right now with the emergency fund because benefits are going to be dying up because the government doesn't work for you. Now, if that's not enough to light a fire, I don't know what can help people. But you better vote, and you better get rid of these people. The Tennessee judiciary is up for re-election in 2030. Vote every one of the damn liars out of office. The governor's race is next year. Let's find somebody that will benefit the populace, that will benefit the mass citizenry, and not these special interest groups that run our country. The power groups, the vested interest groups, and the pressure groups are what's running this country. And they are stepping on the rights of the mass populace, me and you, by their propaganda. And they don't like me saying vote because they know there's more of us than there is them. So that's why I'm so damn dangerous. I'll just say it like it is. So we'll talk about these groups and what they're doing to us and how we can combat it. We're not a protest. We're not a protest. The people in government power are protesting us. I'm not protesting. I'm not protesting. I'm telling you the facts as they're laid out, as you can read them. And there's nothing strange or weird or unacceptable about anything I'm saying. It is completely understandable. Makes sense. 1, 2, 3. I line it up. You can figure out what the facts mean for yourself. Yeah, they're going to rain on my party here by putting these blowers out. Thank you very much. So we'll be on here pretty much every day at 6 a.m. and we're gonna look at the opposition. We're gonna look at the opposition. It's massive in place for a long time, but signs of hope. Our avenue to get past their entrenched corruption. And there is an avenue to get past their entrenched corruption. So we got these damn noisemakers following us everywhere we go, so we'll find us another place to go to get away from the damn noisemakers. So let's look at and we'll continue with the dialogue. Like, share, comment, contribute if you can. Resource mobilization theory is the fact that these power groups stay in power because of money, power, and influence. Not because they represent the populace in the citizenry, because they have money, power, and influence to manipulate the system, to manipulate people, and to believe in their dirty lies and their dirty propaganda. So in order for us to get the truth out about stuff, about the government, about their control of the roads, about their total control, is to have money and try to get power and influence. And this is what this YouTube channel is about, getting influence. So we'll walk on the other side of the bridge since the noisemakers are out. And you know, that's one thing I like about electric cars is they don't make a lot of noise. So we'll finish the dialogue when we get to the other side of the bridge. Hopefully I won't lose everybody. If I do, I'll talk to who I got about the special interest groups that adversely affect you, that are only for the special interest, that are deceitful, that put out propaganda, that are lies and obvious to look at if you think about them, that make no sense at all when you think about them in the light of day, and when you understand the objective is to keep themselves in power and to run over you. And when you understand that there's more of us than there is you. In the last election, if everybody votes the way they did it for the governor's race, and we wake up 27% of the populace, the mass citizenry, only 27%, and all things remain the same, then we blow them off the map. That is what, 73% of the people that we don't even have to have. So all we need is to wake up 27%, and then if we can flip part of the Republicans and Democrats that aren't extremists, and you don't even have to tell them you're voting our way, then we can lower that 27% to around 8-9%. Make it very low. So there's the bridge that they're opening for themselves. That they're opening for themselves. They're lying propaganda, false propaganda. That they claim is broke. And that's false propaganda. It's not broke significantly. They claim they don't have the money. It's not. They have the money to fix that bridge. So that's a road. That's a road that they are taking over. That they're taking over. That only they're going to drive on. And they've even admitted that in the papers. It says only government vehicles. So only people in government power, only the power group is going to be able to drive on the road that you paid for. Under the guise of not enough money to fix it. Under the guise that is irrevocably broken except for to walk on in government vehicles. Now, if you believe that, if you can't read between the fine print, then you know, I'd like to see your proof. I'd like to see your proof, because how can they be able to drive on the bridge, but you can't be able to drive on the bridge? If it's broke enough to where they can drive on the, if it's broke enough to where you can't drive on the bridge, it only makes sense that they shouldn't be able to drive on it either. So that's just false propaganda. Just false propaganda. They're trying to close down roads. All the roads for you, and open them up for them so that they can drive drunk on the roads. So that they won't run into you sober driving down the roads. I mean, that's the truth. It sounds funny, but it's true. They're arresting drunk people. They're arresting members of the public. They sure don't want members of the mass populace drunk on roads. They'll find you. And they're arresting sober people for drunk driving, a bunch of them. Cameron Sexton said it wasn't a problem. Of course it's not a problem. That's the objective of it. They want to get everybody off the damn roads except for Cameron Sexton, except for his people, his entourage, except for the people in power, so that they can drive down the roads, drunk and sober, so that they can use the road so that they don't run into you while they're drunk, while you're sober going to work. Now, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. If that sounds extreme, look at the facts. I am not a conspiracy theorist like some of them here on the news that are going to accuse people of wrongdoing, like mass shootings that they claim didn't happen and stuff like that. I'm not doing that. I'm telling you about the power group. The people in power that are setting up a situation with false propaganda, lying to you about what they're doing, so that they're the only one that has access to a very valuable, one of those valuable resources is, and it's a fundamental right, the right to travel, and they're taking it away from you by lying to you, making false arrests, filling up our courts with innocent people and putting you in a box where if you don't walk, they won't let you drive and you'll be in a jail cell all your life while they drive down the roads in their drunken conditions. You look at all the number of judges that are involved in fatal crashes that kill themselves. Why weren't they arrested? Why do we have to find out about it until God deals with it? When they get killed because they kill themselves, because they've been stopped before, and officers don't arrest people in government power unless they're one they want to hang out. And if somebody in public power gets arrested, then you can say, well, it's somebody that they made them mad. They are going against the judiciary, they're going against the politics, so they're letting them hang them out. Because if they were in good with the power group, and they were driving down the road drunk, they'd be allowed to do that. They wouldn't get caught. Even if they were arrested, they'd be set free. It'd be a slap on the wrist. It's because they're standing up for what's right. The people in government power that get arrested, they get lauded, that you see bad press about. Now, they may have done something wrong, but they've always done stuff wrong. They're the people, and they may deserve what they get, but they're the people that are trying to hang out the other people in government power may be trying to do something good. It's the exact opposite of what you think. It's counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive. I mean, what you normally think, what they tell you to think, it's counter to that. It's the exact opposite of that. Think about what they say and think about what could be the opposite meaning of that. And I'm not just saying this. People told me that. Yeah, the people in power often wonder what they did, who they pissed off. Yeah, that's the truth. There's science behind that. You're thinking absolutely exactly right. So thank y'all for joining. We're going to go over the paperwork here that we researched and went over and give you a little science, sociological science. It ain't as precise as engineering, like what the temperature of water freezes at, but within ranges, it's just as good. You can predict human behavior, and I can predict to you that these power groups want to take over. It's not nothing new. They want to take over you. So like, share, comment, and contribute to the movement. Another sad case of dementia, prating on mindlessly to nobody about everything, anything, and nothing. Why don't you seek help? Yeah, and why don't you seek some help? Why don't you seek some help, you damn dirty fool? Why don't you put your degrees on here and what you know about stuff, and put your education level and what you've done for society, and let's line it up beside me. And you're a dirty creep that is stupid and part of the establishment, probably. So what can you say about people like that? You know, just ignore them, I guess. Must be causation. You speak in such a way it's difficult to understand. Well, write it down, and go over it later and think about it. And then also revenue. Yeah, we need money to facilitate them. And then open. If you still can't understand it, then pick up a sociology handbook. Sociology, a science that's been going on for hundreds of years. Scientific book that's taught in all nations. Pick up that sociology book and look over power groups, vested interest groups, and pressure groups. They're in there. They come off the top of my head. Somebody else taught me that based on science and knowledge. It's not something new. And it's obviously something that you don't know about. So you must be uneducated. So I'm trying to educate you with some sense and try to stop you from helping everybody else. Big Mike. From Zionist. Yeah, I'm a Zionist. So we'll go over the paperwork here. Jesus loves you. He sure does. I thought Trump was looking after you in America. He is. He is. Good morning, sir. Good morning. So he is. But the parties are like sports teams. They sell jerseys. So people believe that they are on the same team, but those playing the game are not people watching. So yeah. Trump is trying to do good for America. I think Joe Biden tried to do good for America. I'm not an extremist. I think the American presidents, although some of them have different values than me, tried to do good for America. And so vested interests or organizations who own profit, power, status may conflict with the public interest who use their influence to shape public policy or public life in ways that favor themselves other than the broad citizen welfare, vested interest. So they are people who shape public power. And they get their interest above the citizenry. And at the very least, we symbolically punch them in the face, stagger them, bring them to the bargaining rooms by getting to the moniker side of competing foes and big gain and win if we continue if we continue opposition against these people. So symbolically, we can vote. There's more of us and bring them to the bargain table. For large parties, we have the same interest. So a lot of these parties, we have the same interest as some of them do. We have the same interest as some of the judges. They just can't do anything about it right now. So one way we can win acceptance is by putting the olive leaf out to some of these judges and getting some of them to vote for us. Vested interest organizations are people that have a stake in the way things are. They want to keep the status quo. They want to keep things exactly the way they are because they benefit them. They benefit the status quo they have for years. And this one particular book I wrote was wrote in the 1960s, and it's still the same today. The judiciary wants to benefit the judiciary and benefit those in power because they do what the governor tells them to. The governor promotes judges. There's only a small number of people that are proxies that elect the governor. There's only a small number of people. Here's the whole population. There's only a small number of people that elect the governor. And this is the small number of people. This is a little over 1 million. We'll put 1 million in there. And there's 5 million over here. 5 million people. It's only a small number of people. And judges and all these people in that small number of people. There's only a small number of people. And those small number of people, and they lie. They lie to you. They lie to you. These people are lied to. These people right here benefit. They benefit from the governor and their judges, other elected officials, and these are voters right here. And that's 1 million people right there, about 1 million people. That's about 1 million people right there. And they're voters, and they benefit the governor, their judges, and these 1 million people benefit the judges and elected officials. They all benefit those people. But there's 5 million that have been lied to, and that's us. So there's 5 million compared to 1 million voters. And these 1 million people, they lie to us because there's probably about 50,000. There's about 50,000 that get benefited. About 50,000 that get benefited off your tax money. So they contact these 1 million people. There's about 50,000. They contact these 1 million people. And then these 1 million people contact you, these 5 million people, tell them, don't vote. Stay out of it. You won't make any difference. These 5 million people here, they want public apathy. So these 50,000 people control all this. So they got their little. So when I say vote, the TBI, the FBI, the governor, it scares the hell out of them because they know all these 5 million people can clobber this little group of people that want the roads, they want the government, they want everybody in power to serve only them. So if we can wake up these 5 million people, and it is a 70, It is 70-something percent. There's 27%. So it is so 73% of people we don't even need. We need 27% of the 100% of 5,000 people. 5 million people. So if we can wake up, 27% is all we need, then we can clobber their 1 million people. And there's about 50,000 of them that directly benefit off your tax money. They're the power group, the money with people with money, power, and influence. And it's your money. It's not even their money. It's your money. It's your money. It's your tax money. It's your power. It's your influence. And that they're using to control you. It's like you pay for the roads to be built. You pay taxes and they build the roads. You build the roads. Your tax money builds the roads. And only them only the power group get to be on the roads and you're on the sidewalk. We'll break it down Barney style. Break it down Barney style. Only your tax money. Your tax money builds the roads. Your money, your hard work, your dedication builds the roads. Our tax money builds roads. And only them are on the roads driving. Because they tell you you're drunk. And their judges adjudicate that you can't use the roads because it's a safety issue. And it's not a safety issue. It's good for them, not good for you. So that's what we're up against, these power groups. Let's look at this right here. Some of the interest groups are the NRA, gun rights. They're not against the citizenry. There's good interest groups. And we can make friends with the NRA that protect our Second Amendment. Interestingly enough, law enforcement is, a lot of the people in power in law enforcement are against the NRA. Why is that? Because they're competing interests. People in law enforcement don't want you to own a gun. The NRA is a special interest group. The United States Chamber of Commerce is among the highest spenders in U.S. They buy industry groups, influencing tax regulations, legislation. They weaken tax registration to protect the public health and environment. Weaken rights and consumers. They risk pollution and financial crisis, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So they benefit corporations. And if these corporations go out of business, your tax money funds them. So who benefits the consumer? And that's who we need to focus on, the consumer, me and you. We have power too. They can't sell anything unless we buy it. The private pension and security incorporation rates the highest rate of incarceration in the world. They lobby tough on crime. And yeah, let's get tougher and tougher on crime. That's never worked. It's never worked. How about let's get fair and let's put some of them in jail. They have major political action. Citizens United. It drowns out ordinary votes. It drowns out the 5 million votes in the state of Tennessee. These private security prisons that tell you, that's part of their propaganda, that our interest is your interest. And no, it's not. No, it's not. Their interest is self-interested. They're not on your side. They're not on your team. They're out for your money and your power to make their lives better, and they want to put you in a box and imprison you and your family. Now, a pressure group is an organization made up of individuals or sometimes organizations who share specific interests, cause, or objective and only try to influence government, public policy, and or opinion decisions. So pressure groups just put pressure on people in government power by providing money and influence to influence elections. So influence elections, not run for public office. ACLU, the Greenpeace environmental movement. A lot of these movements supply money and influence, and these politicians make friends with these people that are not for the public interest. They don't care about you. They want your money and they want your power to use for themselves, for their little special interest group. Their little group controls the populace. And they do that. And that's almost the best part, by propaganda. By using propaganda. And that's what I'm doing, putting out truthful propaganda. They do it by propaganda. Propaganda, leaflets. Now the military uses this tactic. It is a tactic where you convince the enemy to surrender, or you convince the enemy that your way is the best way. The military has a PSYOPs unit, which is a special unit that doesn't use bullets. They use propaganda. They fly in airplanes and they drop out leaflets, information. I do this all over the state of Tennessee. It's one of the reasons why I got thousands and thousands of viewers and thousands of followers, is because, coming up on thousands of subscribers, is because I've been out for 5 years putting out truthful propaganda against people in government power. Nobody does that except for me, Charles Van Morgan. It's because I haven't learned helplessness, and it's for the benefit of citizens. I have knocked on probably 40,000 doors all across the state of Tennessee. It's no fluke that I got all these views in here. It's no fluke that I got detractors in here, because I'm stepping on toes. I'm very good at what I do. I was very good at providing public safety for the roads on Tennessee highways. If you want to read what they tell you to read, that's fine. Read about how many drunk driving arrests I made. And a lot of them were people in power that I arrested, which is why I'm not a state trooper anymore, because I arrested people in power, and you can't do that. They won't let you do that. The drunk driving laws apply to the sober people and apply to drunk people that aren't in power, because they want to control the roads. Now, we already covered that. But so I arrested people in power, and you can't do that. That's why I'm no longer in power. But I was good at what I did. I put more people in jail than any trooper in the whole state of Tennessee for their own public safety, and lowered the fatality rate to benefit the public. It wasn't about me. I didn't get paid more. I got stuff taken away from me. You will not, and got sanctioned for enforcing the law evenly and fairly. That's the truth. And people on here saying, look at that, read the newspaper, read the news. Read where it says I made more arrests than anybody in the state, and read where it says they dismissed the cases. I didn't dismiss them. I'm the one that put them in jail. They sat in an office building. Randy good for nothing Nichols, sat in an office building. They want you to read stuff, read it, and don't listen. Read the facts and don't listen to what the propaganda tells you to believe. This is what the facts are, and this is what we want you to believe about the facts. They tell you that I was responsible for them releasing hundreds of drunk drivers all across the state. I wasn't responsible for that. I went out at night and arrested these people by myself to protect them and others for your safety. That was truthful. That was the right thing to do. But I arrested some of them, and you can't do that. Members of the bar, hell no, you can't arrest them. That's one of the things Randy Nichols mentioned when he was testifying against me, that about how great the Knoxville bar is. Yeah, play up to that special interest group. But if you read the propaganda, it's out there, it's very clear. They say, thanks to me, that he released hundreds of drunk drivers. Thank me. Now, you don't have to thank me. You can thank me for by myself at night arresting them. That's what happened. You can thank Randy Nichols for the atrocity on the roads, because he sat in the safety of an office building and he released them. See it? See the flip in that, the propaganda? Thanks to me. I didn't release them. I went to court after I was paid. See the propaganda, see the lies they're trying to tell you. And as a result of their propaganda, their special interest group, their judiciary and their attorneys, that they won't even let me be an attorney because I'm too honest, because I want to uphold their extremist views that they can drive drunk and you can't. So read between the lines. Read like these people on here saying, yeah, read. Anybody can Google. Google, thanks to me, hundreds of drunk drivers are arrested. And think about the facts. I arrested them. I didn't sign any papers to release them. They're the ones that released them. See how they blame their control, and they put out propaganda that's dangerous to you. That's absolutely, positively, just a total, complete fabrication. I'm not a coward. I arrest them at night by myself to protect you more than any troop in the state. I mean, they wouldn't have anybody to release had I not done it by myself at night, and they call me a coward? Really? Randy Nichols is a dirty coward. You see him out here on the bridge, he'd be afraid to face me. He's just a dirtbag. He's just a creep, just a criminal. A district attorney and a criminal. Hello? And he, in the cowardiceness of the city-county building, right here in the city-county building, in the cowardice in that city-county building, while he's protected by my tax money, sheriff's deputies stand there protecting while he's signing papers illegitimately to release hundreds of drunk drivers, and the propaganda in the newspaper, the Knoxville newspaper, says, thanks to me, I didn't release him. I went to court and tried to testify and get him to not drunk drive again. He's the one that released. See the flip in that? I didn't release any damn body. He did. See the lie? That's obvious to tell. So read the stuff like the guy on here. Read that. Anybody can go Google that. And they blame what they did on me, just like that idiot saying that. So look between the lines. Don't believe their propaganda. It's a power group. That's a power grab. That's for them. Of course he wanted to release drunk drivers. He wanted to release them. He did it in cowardiceness. They named buildings after him to say, we're good people. The Randy Nichols Family Justice Center. What a corrupt bunch of people they are. It's called propaganda. I'm in the propaganda business too, except for my propaganda is safety of the citizens. My propaganda when I was a state trooper is, if you drive drunk, you go to jail. That's truthful. That was propaganda. That is the truth. Their propaganda is, we want the roads, but we're going to say it's about drunk driving. And no, it's not. It's about them wanting a resource. They put out propaganda in their newspapers, in their court rulings, in the judicial rulings, every damn day. That's a dirty lie, most of it. Read what they're trying to tell you and see if it makes any sense. 9 times out of 10, it makes no sense at all. I even went to court after they fired me. Randy Nichols, the State Highway Patrol Colonel, Colonel Tracy Trotz to the bathroom, said that I wasn't competent, I wasn't honest to testify in a court of law. Why did they give me a subpoena after they fired me to testify in Claiborne County? I mean, which one is it? I'm not competent. I'm not honest enough to testify. I'm not credible enough to testify, is the words he used, in Knox County Court. But I'm credible enough to testify in Claiborne County Court, in which I went without even getting paid. You think about what they're trying to say, it makes no sense at all, because it's a dirty propaganda lie designed to benefit them at your expense. It's not just my expense. I haven't been killed on Tennessee highways. People's families have, and it's the result of Tracy Trotz. Tracy Trotz is responsible for people being released from the Tennessee courtroom, not me. He says thanks to me. See, they put that lie on me. Well, let me tell you what, Tracy Trotz, you're a dirty piece of dirt that released hundreds of drunk drivers that I arrested at night by myself. I'm not a coward. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not a coward. You'd like to hurt me. You're the coward. Releasing hundreds of drunk drivers that kill little children. He even released people that hurt a little child. A drunk driver that hurt a little child without any, and I'm a coward, really? I mean, think about what they're saying. And see if it makes any sense. It's a power group that lies to you, that's elected the governor, that promotes judges, that puts out these false rulings in their favor against you. And it's in their favor, completely in their favor against you. You won't get a fair hearing in a Tennessee courtroom if you go against the governor or anybody in government power. If they have any interest in it at all, they will rule in their favor. That's how bad the Tennessee court system is. It's crooked as hell. I'm not talking off the top of my head. It's conflict. It is sociology 101 to the fruition. Look at the facts, plug the facts in the thinking. Conflict theory. It's a scarce resource that they're trying to control. So let's see how many people got in here. Yeah, we got quite a few. Like, share, comment. Thank you all for listening. And if you're waiting for me to apologize I'm waiting for an apology from the colonel and from Randy Nichols. You think I'll get that? That's why I'll hammer away. They'd like to shut me up. What I'm saying makes sense. The truth has weight and value. It's more powerful than lies. I mean, just think about that. Just get that concept. I was out here at night by myself. Troopers work by themselves. I arrested drunk drivers. You know, they're trying to get troopers to arrest drunk drivers, saying you'll be good, you'll get spanked if you don't. No, if you arrest one of them, you better watch out who you arrest. They're crooked as hell. By myself at night, and I worked out, and I practiced self-defense techniques. I'm very good at what I do. I'm very good at what I do now. I know to watch out for people in government power. I said vote, and they put me in jail saying I did stuff wrong. What a dirty lie. When you're dangerous, they go after you, don't they? Well, keep on trying, because you ain't going to get it done. Because the truth has weight and value, and I believe people believe the truth. So I was out at night arresting people. You're under arrest, and protecting them. And they say thanks to me that they were released, when I'm the one that put them in jail, and Randy Nichols the one that released them. See the dirty, sick lie on that? A lot of interest groups, thousands, unpopular views at the expense of them. So a lot of these special interest groups, these power, have unpopular views at your expense. Pressure groups strongly influence power politics, pass legislation, they have their cronies in place. So these power groups that own the government, they own the government, it's their government. They own the power, and there's about 50,000 of them in the state of Tennessee. They're part of their proxy, that are legislators, people in government power. They own the government. It is their government. You're their slaves. It's their government. The 5 million people across the United States, I'm across the state of Tennessee, and even the about 500,000 that voted for them, that have been deceived, you're their slave. You're their slave. You do what they tell you to, and they make laws and rules, and they have power over you. That's what power is. It's the ability to make other people do what you want them to, despite of opposition. And they have the ability to do that right now. That's what we need to stop. But there's millions of us that have more power than they do, and they make rules and laws to substantiate and legitimize their illegitimate. And they're taking stuff away from us. So a unique character of pressure groups: possession of money, organized power, and employment of propaganda. So these pressure groups are organized. The NRA, these green groups, these groups that want something done at the expense of the populace. And these corporations and businesses have an interest, and they have money, and they're well organized, and that's why they get their will done, because the public doesn't know, and the public's not well organized, and there's a lot of apathy and a lot of their false information that tells you that you can't make a difference, which I'm here today to tell you that you can make a huge difference. If only a few of us wake up, we can blow them off the map, so to speak, at the voting booth. Only just a few. We don't have to get the 100% of people that are apathetic. We only need about 27% to wake up. So call your friends, neighbors. Tell them to watch the show. Tell them to wake up. Tell them to go vote. If they got a felony they can't vote, then tell them to influence other people. If you got a voice, then you have friends and family. You can go vote. You know, these groups are so powerful. These groups are so powerful. They could go down here to the Gay Street Bridge, under the Gay Street Viaduct, and they could get somebody that does drugs, worthless, won't work, that's a creep, a criminal, that has drug marks all over their arm, and they could get them, and they could prop them up under the Republican flag or the Democrat flag, and get them elected to public office by telling you they're a good person by their false propaganda about them. And they have some pretty creepy people that are in public office. And they can promote anybody that they damn well choose to promote to public office, get them elected. The Democrat Party can get anybody elected. They can get somebody on the bridge. They want somebody that will do what they want them to do. The Republican Party can get any damn body to get elected. They can prop them up, make them, maybe not to president, but they can get any damn body that they want to promote to public office. They'd tell them, pull your sleeve down, cover up your drug needle marks, and dress them up in a nice suit. As long as they do what they tell them to, they'll put anybody in these public offices. And there's more of us than them. Stop listening to their lies. Stop listening to their baloney. They exert public power, great power over public opinion and propaganda. So they exert great power over public opinion by their false propaganda, by their putting out laws and judicial rulings. What greater way to fool the public than to say a judge and judges decided this? The Tennessee Supreme Court decided that foreigners should be allowed to practice law in the state of Tennessee, and Tennesseans can't. What great influence. It puts legitimacy. It makes it sound right. Puts the weight of law on something that's absolutely detrimental to the populace of the United States of America, to people in Tennessee, to people that were born here, that have birth certificates, to people that have graduated from Tennessee law schools, to people that have selected registration, to people that have fought for this country, for the Tennessee judiciary to make it laws, to give it away, what we fought for. Light a fire under these people. You're not going to do that to us. You will go to jail. We will make new laws that will put your hindins in jail. You're not giving away this country to foreigners. That's what the Tennessee judiciary is doing. 2030, vote them out. And then we'll get a special prosecutor's office and put their nasty, crooked, corrupt, self-interested, 100% self-interested in jail. You say, why are they doing that? For money. They want your money. They want your damn money. They're getting money from the University of Tennessee that has a school that they go for a few months and they get a big fancy fake law degree, and they get money from the University of Tennessee and they get a law license. It's for money. It's where the root of all evil is. So vote. Voters of truth and rage, light a fire, get people to get rid of these people. And here's what they do with the propaganda. They convince the public that you have the same interest, that they have the same interest as yours. They convince you, people in government power, that they're acting on your behalf, that we're for you. Bill Haslam, I'm for you. Governor Bill Lee, I'm on your side. Vote for me. That 50,000 people that he goes, about 50,000 people. He might as well directly do this. Governor Bill Lee say, here you go. These 50,000 people. It don't cost them very much. Promises about 50,000 people favors. It's just proxy. You get a government job, you get lieutenant major, you get colonel, you get whatever. It's like, but I don't do my job. I don't keep the road safe. Don't matter. Vote and tell other people to vote for me. Here you go. They got money and influence and power. They got power. They got the positions in government. They got the government. They got money. It's our tax money. And they say, they got these 50,000 people. And they say, here you go. Here's a favor. Here's a favor. And those 50,000 people are really dedicated because they got a benefit from it. They're really dedicated 100% in taking care of the governor and getting him elected. So they'll go out and knock on your door and say, the governor's a good guy. And you say, the governor's a good man. He's a great man. He's a Christian man. Did you see that commercial where he campaigned in a church? He's a great man. He's out for your interest. He's on your side. He's even a Christian, just like you are. And you look in his pocket. You look in his pocket, and you say, you look in the pocket when they're knocking on your door, and you say, what's that money in your pocket? Where'd you get that from? Did you get that from Bill? Where'd you get that promotion from? Because these are highfalutin. Did you get that promotion from Bill? No. They say, no. I didn't get no money from him. I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart because I want what's good for you. It's good for you. You don't need to drive in a car. You can walk on the sidewalk. You'll be just fine. They got your interest in mind. That's what they do. That's what they do. They convince you that their interest is your interest. No, it's not. Soft pedal its true identity, disguising their true purpose. So they disguise. They cover up what they're doing. that money, I didn't get that money from Bill. No, hey, I didn't get my promotion from Bill. I did a good job. Let me see how many arrests you made on the road that protected the public. Well, let me think. Well, I did a good job. I did a good job. Well, isn't it your aunt that is former Supreme Court Justice? Well, that didn't make any difference. That's not the true purpose, is because I got paid, so I'm trying to get you to vote. That's not, they disguise their true purpose. You think they're going to come right out and tell you that they are only for getting your tax money and they want to control the government for themselves? You think they're going to tell you that and you'll vote for them? Hell no, they won't, but that's what they're doing. And they emotional rather than facts. They deal in emotion. They try to get you fired up about something. And I'll try to do it too, but I use truthful emotion. Real dead bodies on the road that they've caused. Real little children dead because of Governor Bill Lee. He's caused people to get dead. I'll say that about him. He's caused people to get dead. He's a thug. He's a dirtbag. He's a sick, very sick man. He's a pathetic piece of shit. He promoted somebody to major that got rid of somebody that made more arrests than anybody in the whole state of Tennessee, kept the fatality rate down. He says he's a good Christian man. If I were him, I would be very afraid when I stood before God. And that's part of the pacify. They say, well, this world isn't perfect. When you get before God, we need to make a difference now. Stand up and fight these people. That's what they did to me, using emotional appeal. Using emotional appeal. Like, share, comment if you want to spread this. They use an emotional appeal to try to incite people to go along with their program. Like they did with me. A young man died. That young man died. And young people died, and they die every day. And I saved as many as I could because he was drunk and refusing to obey the law. And just like that attorney's daughter that tried to run, that I saved her life. He's lucky I got her in custody. They try to flip the script and use emotion to distract you from the real truth. And that's another thing that they do. Lastly, they use diversionary tactics. They use diversion. They don't tell you about the real issues. They distract you by phony stuff. They're not talking a lot right now about people going hungry in the next few days with EBT getting cut out. They're not talking about this building right here that used to be a hospital that you can't go to. They're not talking about that. They want to distract you from the real issues about the government abusing its power, about a reformation, about voting people in power that will represent you, the consumer, the mass populace, the 5 million people across the state of Tennessee, the over 5 million, including some of the people that they fooled. They convince the public that you got the same interests as them. No, you don't. You got completely opposite. You got completely opposite interests as them. The interest that we have is in the mass populace of citizens. There's way more of us. That's what our interest in. They got their little small group of power people that have a lot of money, have a lot of your money, and they try to convince you that their will is the same as yours. No, it's not. No, it's not. I talk to people all across the state of Tennessee. People across the state of Tennessee are good people. You don't agree with the government. You don't agree with that people should starve and go hungry. You don't agree with a lot of things that they do. They don't have your interest in mind. They soft pedal their true identity. They disguise it. They're chameleons. They're liars. They're dirty creeps. They campaign in churches. They don't care about public safety. They care about their family and their friends, and they use your money to support their children that go to strip joints off your tax money. Is that what you want? They won't tell you that. I will. Charles Van Morgan Show. Only where you'll hear the truth from an educated perspective. I've got a Master of Arts in Sociology with an emphasis in criminology. This is all under conflict theory. Look it up. I'm just plugging in the facts. I've got a life lived. I know how dirty the government is. They've done me dirty as hell. Do you see me getting it somewhere crying about it? No, I'm putting it out to the public. I'm putting truthful propaganda about it. They use emotional rather than facts. They try to, oh, he's a murderer and all this stuff. No, I'm not. I saved lives. The fatality rate was lower. It's not about every person that you can't save. I saved people from a burning Jeep one time, right before that happened. They lie. They use emotion, try to make you mad at somebody. That's how they incarcerate a lot of people. They say, oh, they did this and it's a horrific crime. Well, they didn't even do it. They weren't even mad. there. It doesn't matter. They'll show you 100 pictures of a crime scene. You're going to convict somebody because they use emotion rather than fact. Look at the facts and see if it spells out what they say that I did or didn't do. I saved people's lives. They have killed people. And I'll use emotion too, but it's truthful emotion. The roads in the state of Tennessee are 45% more dangerous. More of your family and friends. It's dangerous for you to get home right now under their illegitimate regime that's crooked as hell, voting them out. They're deadly to people. The Knox County coroner has reported, and since then it's went up 10% more, that the fatality rate in Tennessee is last year was 35% higher. It's went up 10%, so it's 45% higher, more deaths on the road. And that's not a hard statistic to count. They can't manipulate that because there's toe tags. One toe tag, two toe tags, three toe tags, four toe tags, and they check their blood, and it's alcohol, and drugs. So they count the number of people. Or this person is dead, they got no alcohol in their system, but this drunk person over here hit them, so they can count the numbers. It's not a hard statistic to count. There's more dead people on the roads without me on the roads, with them in their commands, with Major Stacey Heatherly, with people in the legislature that are making harsher laws, and harsher laws don't even do any good. They take honest people off the roads. So they use emotional appeal. Let me tell you an emotional appeal. An emotional appeal is you will get dead if you allow this to go on, quite frankly. And I appeal to you, if you got somebody in your family that's been killed by a drunk driver, then look at Governor Bill Has-Been, the dirtbag he is. You know what he did? The emotional appeal he did after they took me off the roads. Saving the world, I did. Troopers say you can't save the world. I sure was giving it a pretty good shot. We can try as moral, decent human beings when we take the oath to uphold the Constitution. We should try, which is what I did. Numbers don't lie. And look at Bill Has-Been's emotional appeal. He went out right after they fired me, started doing commercials where he showed broken glass about how you put your seatbelt on. Seatbelts don't kill other people. Seatbelts are a good thing to use, and you should use them, but that's not the problem on the roadways. We don't have mass casualties because people don't use their damn seatbelts. If you're in a really bad, horrendous crash because a drunk driver hits you at 90 or 100 miles an hour, a seatbelt ain't going to make a damn bit of difference, Governor Bill Lee, or Governor Bill Has-Been. So yeah, that guy's shaking his head. So it's not about seatbelt use, it's about people in government power are causing you to get dead. Like the fire, and the fire is get up and go vote. Vote these people out. Say, we don't care what you say. Every word that comes out of your mouth is a damn dirty lie that's liable to kill one of my family members. They promote people that have done this crazy stuff, and then they lie about you. Say, what we did is your fault. What we did is your fault. Really? I don't buy it. Do you buy it? I don't buy it for 10 seconds. You shouldn't buy it either. So we get a bunch of people on here. Like, share, comment. Hit the like button. Show me you're listening to what I'm saying. And so that's their propaganda. Convince the public, same interest as them. I guarantee you don't have the same. Do you have the same interest as Bill Has-Been? The same interest as protecting your billions? Do you have $1 billion? You don't have the same interest as that dirtbag. And a lot of it is your money, or he's exploited you. Bill Haslam and Bill Lee disguise their true purpose. Their true purpose is all about power and money and protecting the elite group. And they use emotion, try to act like you're the ones responsible for the bad stuff that happens. And then they use diversionary tactics. They don't tell you the real problems. They don't tell you about people starving to death and hospital closures. They tell you they go to these ribbon cutting ceremonies where they're acting like they're helping people. They're not helping people, they're helping big business. Not promote analysis of problem to induce others to accept. Vested interests benefit from the existing social order. These people in power have a vested interest in keeping things the same way they are because they're the one that benefits from them. Equity under the law is a representative government, not one that represents these damn dirty special interests, not one that represents the judicial board, not one that represents the the bar in different cities. Not one that represents these people. They're not on your side. They represent them. And they'll do what benefits them. At your expense, it's your demise. So yeah, we got a bunch more likes. Like, share, comment. They benefit them at your demise. They benefit the bar at your demise. Try to say legitimate. The judges are legitimate. The bar in Tennessee, the Knoxville bar, the Tennessee bar, tries to tell you that judges are legitimate. They have rules and laws where you can't, if you remember the Knoxville bar, they can't even run down a judge. They can't speak ill of a judge. They can say, I don't agree with the judge's decision, so we're going to appeal it before other just judges too. He just made a mistake. He doesn't see things the right way. He's an honest judge. They can't say the judge is dishonest. He gets $6 a head. He's a dirty judge. He rules everybody guilty so he can make money. It doesn't matter about the facts. If you come into court, he won't let you testify. They won't tell you that Judge McMillan lets a sheriff's deputy tamper with a witness under oath. They won't tell you that. They can't tell you that. And they lie in their rulings. They won't tell you they lie in their rulings, that they add facts to stuff, because a member of the Tennessee Bar is a member of a special interest group that's designed to put you in jail and take your money. That's the Tennessee judiciary. Is that what you want to keep doing? You know, you say it's only $1 you give them. They'll put you in jail for the rest of your damn life on trumped up charges. You didn't have nothing to do. That's what they'd like to do to me. Is that what you want? What I am after, and the objective of voters of Tennessee Enraged, voters of Truth Enraged, and Power to You, the People movement, is the power back to us, representative, equal representative under the law. Equal representative under the law. Now, vested interest power to support of firm basis for, they have a firm basis for wielding power, opposition to social change. This is vested interest. They are against social change. They have a vested interest in not allowing social change. These are vested interests in people in power. They want to keep things the same way. The Tennessee judiciary wants to keep things the same way because they support of traditional way things are. They tell you the good old days. They from a basis from wielding power, and they are opposed, in opposition to social movements, to what I'm trying to initiate and let a fire. Now, there are extremists in these social groups. There are some judges and there are some attorneys in Tennessee that would like to criticize judges and would like to criticize the existing social system as it is. They're not all of them bad, and I say that, and that's the truth. They're not all of them bad. Not all judges are bad. Not all attorneys are bad. Not all people in these groups that wield power, not all rich people are bad. They're not. I'm just pointing out how bad they can go and how bad they've gone, that there's good people in these organizations. And there are good people in the organizations. And they would be on our side, on the popular side, but there's nothing they can do about it if they want to stay in those organizations. And they won't change themselves. They can't say anything about it, because if they do, then they'll be ostracized and penalized just like me, because those groups wield so much power. What you can do, and if you remember the Knoxville bar, or you remember the Nashville bar, or you remember the bar, you're a judge, what you can do, you don't have to tell them who you vote for. Be as chameleon as they are. Go to the polls and vote against these people. But there are people in these groups, and this is the danger, that extremist subcultures within the Tennessee bar, a lot of them are members of the Board of Law Examiners. They're very subversive groups. Not every member of the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners is a bad person. They're not. They do bad things because they have to. Not everybody in Germany during the Nazi reign was a bad person. They couldn't do much about it. They'd get killed too. So it's the system that these people in power set up that are against them. So I want to reach out to these people that are in the Tennessee bar, and the Knoxville bar, and the Nashville bar. I want to reach out to these people that are in the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners. Not all of them are bad. I got some good impressions from them. They went along with the program. to keep me from representing Tennesseans, which they shouldn't have done. But you can go vote. If I run for public office, again, I don't know if I will, vote for me. If I endorse somebody running for public office, vote for them. Because you know as well as I do, there's extremists in these subcultures that are unscrupulous, unprincipled, immoral scanders that are the ones that grossly distort things. They exploit the masses. They're a tirade of extremists that have infiltrated these social movements, that have infiltrated the government, that have infiltrated the court system, that have infiltrated the governor's office, that have infiltrated the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Troopers call me. I know that they don't agree with what's going on. They can't stand up and say anything about it. But what you can do is ignore the extremists, and you know who they are, and vote. We can vote. That's the cure to this, is vote. So I reach my hand out to people in the Knoxville bar, vote. Vote. You know that if I arrested your child, that was a good thing for me to do, that I should have done that. It teaches them better. It protects their life. Not to think that you're so high and mighty and extremist that you don't think you ought to be protected from your own crimes. I mean, come on, give me a break. It's not real hard science. There's extremists, and you know there's extremists in your organizations, and I reach out my hand to you. If you're in one of these government power groups, to be smart about it, but reject what they say at the polls. You don't have to do it to their face. I wouldn't do it either. Look what they did to me. So fight them at the polls, not through violence or even standing up to them to their faces. They don't have to know who you vote for. You can secretly tell other people that are in your group that will keep your secret to Power to You, the People movement, to vote. And so the unique characteristic of power groups, pressure groups, regardless of where they're found, tend to be characterized by possession of money, organization, and power, also by the employment of propaganda. So these pressure groups have a lot of money, so contribute to the movement. We need money to support the movement. We need money to support the movement, to support vote. So if you can contribute. Go to the Square app, go to the Cash app, or if you can't financially, hey, that's fine. I understand. We're going to put news out, boots on the ground when we can afford it, go different places and tell you the real perspective away from the power groups, what's really happening from the perspective of the public, from your perspective, what you need to know, what they want to, not what they want to tell you, what really happened from a populist perspective, to represent the 5 million people across the state of Tennessee, not to represent independent, unbridled journalism, unbridled truth. Nobody else will do this except me, stand against the people in power. Governor Lee just went to that place where they had that mass casualty, where they blew up, a whole building was blown up, and we don't know what happened. He went there just to show his presence. He didn't go there to do any news, and the news media was there, and they didn't ask any real questions. I know that the Tennessee Highway Patrol was standing behind the sheriff, and I know if there's any kind of investigation where the Tennessee Highway Patrol has anything to do with it, it's a vested interest group, a power group, and they'll lie to you. They'll put a perspective about it that benefits them and keeps them in power. If something's gone wrong that the public ought to know about, they won't tell you. They won't tell you about that, but we will. So if you can contribute, we'll put out real news, and also like. If you can't do anything except for like the video, like it. It'll help spread the truthful propaganda, and also subscribe to the channel. That helps. If you can't do nothing else except that, post good information, good propaganda information. If you know information about the government, you can go to my webpage on the YouTube and anonymously report government corruption, and I'll put it out. I'm not afraid to. We'll find cover and concealment. I know all about that stuff. So the rapid growth of pressure groups in recent decades, directly from recognition that small groups, if well organized and financial power, can often achieve their interests at the expense of the majority. So they get organized at our expense. We can achieve our objectives if we're well organized and funded. This is possible because organizations make possible the assessment of capital, especially if the combining interest or money interest begin with and possess of capital enables a group to exert great power over public opinion. So they lie to you, and eventually over legislative process. The group which possesses significant capital can pay for radio, text, television time to present its case to the public. I'm presenting my case to you right now. It can also produce full-page advertisements in the nation's newspapers, or if its opponent shrewdly may get a point of view presented on an editorial page or even on a page under the guise of being news rather than opinion. It can be attorneys who give the finest legal advice, consultants of all sorts, lobbyists, influential legislators themselves. If it is ruthless enough, and sometimes does, hire thugs and hoodlums to use physical force on those who oppose its plans or interests in a society dominated by pecuniary values. The possession of wealth, whether an individual or organization, enjoys strong advantage not shared by the so-called common man. So that is how they pressure groups. They can even hire thugs and stuff to get their will across against you. So, and here's how they do it, by propaganda. The propagandist denies that he seeks to indoctrinate, and they do. They want to indoctrinate. He insists that systematic technique used by the propagandists do sway public opinion, unless one is significantly critical in examining the legitimacy in the use of the terms indoctrinate and educate. It becomes difficult not to accept the propagandist's seemingly logical conclusions. This technique has often been used to oppose liberal education in nation schools and colleges. Opponents of liberal education declare that the choice between indoctrinating people with communism, socialism, or educating them to the virtues of capitalism, free enterprise. The possibility of an objective study of the merits and demerits of various economic and political systems is not even considered. We need to guard against manipulation by pressure groups. 4 techniques they use: convince the public that it is the same interest as pressure group, soft pedal its true identity and promote the acceptance of its purpose by disguising them, use emotional rather than rational arguments to employ diversion tactics to attract attention about the issues. And that's what I just went over. So that is pressure groups. Vested interest groups are a special interest group is merely a group of people who have a shared common interest, like bird watching, hiking, whatever. A vested interest group is one that benefits in some way from the existing social order. These are vested in money, power, prestige, and so on. And these are people in government power. They have a vested interest in keeping things the same. That's why they lie, cheat, rob, and steal, and put out propaganda that is adverse against you. Vested interest groups. They want to keep it the way it is. They don't care about you. And that is the Republican Democrats, the extremist part of their group. Are vested interest groups bad? This is the same as asking, is the weather bad? It is bad when it inconveniences us. Each of us will define a vested interest group as bad when it attacks our values or threatens our interests. They are threatening our interests now. When a vested interest group pursues its own interests, its actions sometimes benefit the public interest and sometimes damage it. That's just the group. When physicians organize to prevent quirks and untrained people from practicing medicine, both the medical profession and the public are protected from injury. When physicians oppose organized mass immunization programs, as they have done in the instances, their action probably benefits their profession, but whether it benefits the community is also debatable. So sometimes these vested interest groups do good, and most of the time they do not. And here, a social reformer is most successful when he can persuade a vested interest group to redefine their interests, discover that the reform will actually benefit them, as he will then receive their support. So, the way we can win is to convince these vested interest groups that we have the same ideology as them, not the extremist part of it, and we can win a lot of consensus in the populace. So the extremist subculture generally found today on the special interest groups competition, not only are they rejected by opposition, they're often rejected by the dominant groups in the faction which they purport to represent. So these special interest groups are some good lawyers, some good attorneys, some good people in special interests, we need to have them reject the extremist part of that. Responsible business and labor know, whether they like it or not, that they must bargain for what they want. The tirade of extremists only stir up animosity and make it difficult to function. The extremists setting their rejection and if effective often become adamant in their refusal to compromise. In time, the extremist subcultures are apt to disappear as their myths become more and more irrelevant, until they will continue to harass and organize groups. Exploitation of ideals of extremists. So we can work with these people in some of these groups, as bad as I call it, to gain advantage by extending the olive leaf to these people and asking them to reject the extremist part of their special interest and vested interest group for the good of the populace. And some of them want to do that. There's some good judges, and some people do actually want to do that. So let's see, answer a few questions. So like, share, comment. So it looks like it's going to start raining a little bit. So here's the thing. In order to gain advantage for vote, for Power to You the People movement, voters of truth enraged, in order to gain advantage and get the benefit back to the people, the mass people in the state of Tennessee and the United States of America and in your country, in order to win acceptance for vote against the mass people in these special interest groups, then we need to extend an olive branch to people in these organizations that are part of special interest groups. We need to try to win some of these special interest groups over to our way of thinking, which is best for the populace, not what's best for the special interest groups. And we can do that by convincing them to not listen to the extremists. They know they're there. They know who they are. And there's a lot of good people in some of these special interest groups, and a lot of really good people. We need to convince them to get on our side and not to stand up and fight them to their face. They're extremists. All they want is trouble. And they want power and money. They're gluttons. They're sold into their corruption. So the way we can beat them is convince some of these people in some of these special interest groups to look at our way of thinking, which is the best for the populace, which is for love for your fellow man, and convince people from these special interest groups that are powerful and have money to vote in favor of the populace, to vote in your favor. And when they go to the polls to vote, if I run for public office, hey, vote for me. I'll be the best at it. Or whoever we promote right now, probably the best for the city council in the city of Knoxville is Miss Jones, Becky Jones. I would endorse, and you got just a few days to vote for her, because she's for opening up that bridge. Now, she's not perfect. She's got some of the few ideals that I have, but I believe that her heart's in the right place, and I don't believe she's an extremist. I do not believe for 10 seconds she's an extremist, and I think she'll do the best for Knox County and the citizens of the city of Knoxville. So I would ask you to vote for Becky Jones. So the extremists are running too, that want to close down the bridge, want the bridge for themselves. Now, they're chameleons. They're not going to come right out and tell you that. They're chameleons. But, and I'm not people say I'm trying to paint me, use emotion to say that I'm bitter, and I'm not bitter. I had to come from a ditch to try to tell people what they said about me in the news is not true. But I'm what's good for the public, so I would endorse Becky Jones. I didn't get enough votes to beat her right now, maybe in the future, but I'm not bitter. It's not about me. It's what's best for the public. So I would endorse Becky Jones. You have just a few days. Go vote for Becky Jones. She's way down. She got like 330 something votes in the primary, and the other opponent that is part of the extremist wing of the Democrat Party that's going to make it very difficult to live in the city of Knoxville, got about 900 votes because of propaganda, because of proxy, because of unfair elections. So if she's got any hope of winning, and you don't have to bang the drums and tell everybody you vote for, just, it only takes a small percentage of people voted. So if you listen to this channel, and you live in Knoxville, go vote and talk to people you know and go vote. Let's overturn this election, show that we do have some political influence, some political power, so that they'll stand up and listen. They'll have to what we're saying, or we'll vote them out. So go vote in Knoxville for Becky Jones. If you don't live in Knoxville and you know somebody that lives in Knoxville, or you know somebody that knows somebody that lives in Knoxville, whatever you got to do, please make it possible for us to live in the city of Knoxville, because we're not going to be able to live in the city. They're trying to increase taxes. They're shutting down roads. They're making it an unlivable place because they don't want people here. It is horrific, and it's going to get worse if the extreme end of the Democrat Party gets in office. So let's pull off this election. And I'm not even asking you to vote for me. I asked you to vote for me. When I was running, I ran hard. I had to come from a ditch from their propaganda because I'm the biggest threat to their proxy. Charles Van Morgan is the biggest threat to the proxy of the government in Knoxville and in the state of Tennessee. And I'm the biggest advantage to the populace in the state of Tennessee. It's Charles Van Morgan. You want to hear this truth from anywhere. You want to hear somebody that's lived a life, that has knowledge, that used to work for the government, that's got the degrees and education experience I got, that can tell you the truth about things. And that's not bitter. If I was bitter, I would say don't vote for anybody. But I am doing what I'm doing for the benefit of society. And I'm telling you, as heartfelt as I can, as good as I can for the good of common man, is if you care anything, then go vote for Becky Jones in the next election. Let's turn this election. And what I'd like to do is get a vehicle and travel across the state of Tennessee, something like that, and do news. And I like that Tennessee thing, and do news for you. So go vote for Becky Jones. Call whoever you know. I think you got just a few days. I think you can vote today, I believe. And I'm not sure when the last day to vote is, but go vote. Go vote right now if you live in Knoxville. Call somebody right now and tell them to go vote for Becky Jones, because it's not about me. It's about the citizenry in the state, in the city of Knoxville and the state of Tennessee. And you won't hear this truth from anywhere else. Unbridled news. And in the future, we'll go across the state and do news where we get the funds, do unbridled, truthful news, extend the olive branch to people in these pressure groups, and in these vested interest groups, and in these power groups that are not for the mass populace. And that's the problem when all these groups, there's no problem with having a vested interest groups, there's no problem with having a power group, and there's no problem with having a pressure group. The problem becomes, and which is the way it is now, when these groups do things that serve only them and violate the Constitution and do things against you, then it's a problem, and then that's when we need to do something about it. And people are getting ready to starve to death the next few days, so we need to start doing something about it. So we'll see if there's any questions. So Must be a wreck up there. So we'll see if we have any last questions. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Vote MAGA. Yeah, well, make America great again. Should be. So we still got a bunch of people in the comment portion of the program. Works like garbage. I'm sure it's going to print with, I said 50 times. I don't know what you're talking about. So, good grief. Go home, old man. I'm on my way home. Is that Broadway by the Kroger? No. He wrote it down, so it's true. No, somebody else wrote it down, and I'm just repeating what they said by signs. Someone come get their grandpa. I'm not a grandpa. I'm a young man. His name is Mimi Glasses. Dude is off his meds. No, I'm on my meds. I take medicine, but not the kind of medicine you think. I listen to doctors. Did he write that? What's going on? Oh man, the ramblings of a crazy person. And what kind of education do you have? And if I'm a crazy person, why you listen to my rambling? Imagine being a proud broke bootlicker. That's what people in power are. Why you listen to a crazy person? Okay. Dead bodies on the road. He definitely knows about that. Yeah, I do. I saved a lot of them. Exactly. I saved a lot of them. George Carlin covered this. It's one big club and you're not in it. That's right. I'm not in it. When you worked for them, you wasn't trying to change or slow their corruption. Yeah, I was. I was out making hundreds and hundreds of drunk driving arrests every day. I was out serving the public, doing what I was supposed to do. And the reason why I'm not still working for them, glad you brought that up, is because that I tried to stop their corruption the best I could. So I'm calling the nursing home. Okay, go ahead. Be a lot easier life. That's plenty. I have little sympathy for the welfare state, but if you want to keep people from going hungry, call your local Democrat and tell them to vote to reopen the government. It's not a welfare state, and they have a vested interest in keeping the money going to the people in power. And it's not a welfare state to think that the greatest country in the world with the most money, power, and influence should have a system set in place, a safety net set in place so little children don't starve. That's not an extreme position that anybody should have, and anybody that don't agree that we shouldn't let little children or older people starve, or handicapped people starve, people that can't work starve. And there's a lot of people in the real world. Anybody believes that we ought to let them starve, that's an extreme position. So you can call it, that's what they do. They put a title of welfare state, make it sound bad. But a title, that's not a welfare state. That's giving ourselves, not a starving child, that's giving ourselves human dignity and respect for ourselves. Because how can someone be self-respecting, how can we be a self-respecting nation, self-respecting government, when we let people starve to death right in front of us, right under our noses? That's disrespecting ourselves. So, and you can title it a welfare state. That's what they do. It's a welfare state to feed little children. That's not a welfare state. That's self-respect and dignity to humanity. And you can call it whatever you want to. Put those fancy titles in that propaganda. That's propaganda. Say it's a welfare state to make sure that older people don't starve to death, that they live out the rest of their life being provided for when they worked hard all their life. And people call it a welfare state. Go ahead. That's not true. It's not welfare. It's giving them what they deserve. And you're going to make a little 2-year-old go to work? I mean, give me a freaking break. You can call it welfare whatever you want to. I'll call it self-respect, respecting yourself. So when you call it a welfare state, you're not respecting yourself. Because it is not self-respect to let little children starve, and it's not self-respect to let older people starve to death. That's not self-respecting. That's not a welfare state. that is human respect and dignity for everyone, including yourself. So you can title it whatever you want. I believe, and I know that we should not allow in a free country to allow little children and elderly and people that can't work to go hungry. I don't believe that's true. Now, people that can work, he's not reading, but it's good information that he's trying to get done. Okay, I'm reading a little bit. He's not reading. Yeah, I'm reading a little bit. So, are you running for an office position in Tennessee? Maybe. I might run for Tennessee governor. I might freak them out and we're running on the welfare state. You know, there's a New York mayor that's running on the Democrat ticket, and he's running as a reformist and a socialist. And I'm not a socialist. I'm not a socialist at all. I'm not an extremist. I believe in hard work and dedication, and if you can't work, you don't eat. I believe that. You know, if you get hungry enough, you'll work. But that's not the same thing as saying that we shouldn't have a safety net. That's collapsing right now. And if you think that's okay, then you're an extremist, and I can't deal with you, because I don't have that kind of heart. And I don't think the American people have that kind of heart, and I don't think Tennesseans have the heart to believe that. They want a safety net, a temporary safety net that benefits them. So at times, that could benefit them. There's nothing wrong with a safety net. It's a good thing. There's something wrong with not having a safety net, which is getting ready to get gone here in the next few days, which is terribly horrific, and shows you a failure of the special interest groups, the power groups, and the pressure groups, the vested interest groups, and that have failed you. The government has failed you. The government has failed our children. The government is failing our elderly. It's not working for you right now. We need to do something about it, and we can by voting. Vote. Remember the acronym. Remember, power to you, the people, by vote. Voters of truth enraged will light a fire and wake up the mass majority, the mass populace, the mass citizenry in the state of Tennessee, and get the levers of power away from these special interest groups that are out for themselves, and give it to the mass populace, and give it to the people, and do what you, the people, want. And bitter and broke. That's why I'm saying vote for Becky Jones, because I'm bitter. She got more votes than me. I'm bitter. I'm hurt. No, I'm not. I'm looking out for you, for the public. That's why I'm saying to vote for her. And I wouldn't say to vote for her if I didn't know what she stood for and what she believed in. I don't think she's perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. The only man that's ever perfect on the face of the planet was Jesus Christ. And that's who I believe in. But the principles that she stands by are going to help Knoxvillians and not hurt them. I'll tell of Knoxville to vote against your BS. Go ahead. You probably don't live in Knoxville, do you? Go ahead. You got a right to freedom of speech. Get you a YouTube channel and get off mine if you want to help work against me, because you're helping me. You're helping the algorithm, and you're being bitter. Why you get fired? Because I stood against the populace and the special interest. I stood against the special interest group and stood for the populace. What you do for your community. Well, I got a YouTube page, and I serve the community by putting out truthful information, giving them my education for basically free. I have a doctorate of jurisprudence. I import legal information to you, and I'm a reformist, a social reformist that endangers my life for public safety. That's what I do, put out the truth. I about people in power. Who else does that? Who else is willing to talk about Bill Hasselbeck and about his little stop and rob stores that he's made billions on? Who else is willing to do that? Nobody but me. Who else is willing to stand up and fight for the rights of Tennesseans? Me. So like, share, and comment. So yeah, we got some supporters in here. Thank y'all very much. So I do a lot for my community, more than you ever dreamed of. Let's see here. You look less gay with the hat, brother. Yeah, look at these people, and you make a lot of sense. So rambling gestures are hilarious. Which reminds me, one time I was in my taxi driving, and there's music on, and I was moving my hand, and one of the passengers was trying to make fun of me. Said, "What are you doing?" And I could have, I'm moving my hand to the music. I'm sorry. I could have said that. Or what I said was, I'm directing the band. Can't you see the band? What do you think I'm doing? Can you, freak him out? I went to UT. Yeah, God bless UT. It's a great school. So yeah, my hand gestures. I'm directing the band. See. Can't you see? Can't you see the band? Yeah, freak these nuts out. So, yeah, I'm not intimidated very easily. That's Trump Rambler. Yeah, I like Mr. Trump. I think you have to beat Marsha Blackburn. Yeah, I have to Marsha Blackburn you. Now, let's talk about her just a second. Now, when Trump, let's say you're voting for her, and she may very well win. I don't know. We can put pressure on her. We can stagger her with a punch by telling the truth about her, by putting out this to a million people. Let me tell you the truth about her. She is a symbol of a politician. She'll go along with the power groups and who's ever in power, who's ever got the best lie that everybody's following. So when Trump was in office and he apparently lost the election and was on his way out the door and was out of power. And he said that the election wasn't fair. He's a very strong man. He stood up for, I don't want to litter. He stood up for what he thought was right, even when he wasn't in power. Now, that's a pretty strong person. And he said that the election wasn't fair. And he asked for people in the government to not certify the election because he wanted it reviewed and he didn't think it was fair. The COVID thing where they had a lot of states change the laws, and there's a lot of basis, even people that didn't agree with him, to believe that the election was rigged, and he stood up against that. Now, he was on his way out the door out of power. Now, Marsha Blackburn originally said that she was going to vote against the certification of the election. And also, Vice President Mike Pence said that he could not certify the election. But previous, when Trump was in office, he praised him to high heaven. But when he was not in office, apparently on his way out, then he was going to stand against Trump because he didn't think he was in power anymore. So it was a perception of whether he was in power or not. Not a lot to do with the man that was fighting what he construed as evil, and you got to give him credit for that. But Marsha Blackburn said that she was going to not certify the election, and then they had the protest at the Capitol where people went in their own building, and some people committed some minor crimes and trespassed, and it was being all out of proportion. And Donald Trump said, we're going to march down to the Capitol and be peaceful. And the news media took the peaceful part out and said he started a violent protest and an insurrection, all that stuff. They want They want to call freedom of speech insurrection. They want to act like I'm an insurrectionist because I say vote these people out of office. But I'm not an insurrectionist. I want people to vote. The people in government power are insurrectionists. They are, because they want to take your government power. They don't want the populace to vote. They don't want the citizenry to vote. They want to lie to you, and they want you to keep them in power. That's the way. That doesn't work for you. It works well for them. The government's not broke. It's broke for you. It doesn't work for you. It's a well-oiled machine. It works well for them. But she said she was going to object to that, to the certification of the election, go along with Mr. Trump, and then they had that protest, that freedom of speech, and some people did some minor things. They trespassed and done some things they shouldn't. And one of the protesters that was standing up for what they thought was right was killed for trespassing. That's a pretty serious way to get murdered for trespassing. I don't think you ought to be murdered for trespassing. You ought to be arrested, taken off the property, but not murdered. So one of the protesters got murdered, got shot. A military veteran got shot and killed that was protesting for freedom of speech. She got shot and killed for trespassing. That's not an executable offense. So the people who got hurt were people that were protesting and trespassed, some of them. I don't think any of the government people got severely hurt. They lie about that, but Marsha Blackburn's can't handle stuff, and that little bit of stuff happened. A little bit of protest, and people stand up for the rights. After that happened, when the vote came where she said that she was going to vote against certification, her vote was for certification election. So she lied. Just because people stood up for their constitutional rights and exercised their right to freedom of speech. And because Donald Trump wasn't in office anymore. He was on his way out the door. He wasn't the one in power. He wasn't the one with the levers, so she didn't have to go in his favor anymore. So it was about who had the power instead of who was right or wrong. And she let a little protest affect her, so she can't handle stuff. She can't handle the government. Something little happens, enough people stand up and start raising hell about something, she will be influenced by stuff she shouldn't be influenced about. She can't handle stuff. Me, I've been on the road. I've seen bad stuff happen. I know you have to stand your ground. If you're right, you don't let little stuff detract you. You make up your mind ahead of time, look at the facts, and pay attention to what's going on. Don't take your eyes off the road and focus on what you need to focus on, and don't let little things influence you. And that's what she did. She let little things influence her. Marsha Blackburn knew. And she lied. She said that she wasn't going to vote to certify the election. And she went on to certify the election. So, and that's what you're going to get. Somebody that's easily pressured, easily influenced, is not going to stand their ground, is not going to stand for anything. And you look at Mr. Donald Trump. Now, you can say what you want to about him, and a lot of people say bad stuff about him. I don't. He's not a perfect man. But he's not easily influenced. I mean, he makes up his mind and listens to facts. And he'll change on a dime if it's the right thing to do. But he's not influenced by a bunch of baloney, by stuff that shouldn't matter. And he stands his ground and makes a decision. I think that's the reason why people voted for him, is that he will do what he says he'll do. And he won't back down from stuff he don't need to back down from. And he goes forward, and you can guarantee he'll do what he says he tries to do. So, and I can say a lot of good things about Joe Biden. Joe Biden stopped the payment back, and I know this is unpopular. I don't care, because I'm just going to tell you the truth. I'm not here for popularity from extremists. I'm here to speak to the American populace in a reasonable, understandable, factual way, and to tell you the way things are. And let you make your own decision. And I can say good stuff about President Trump. I voted for him 3 times. I'm going to say good stuff about Joe Biden. I don't agree with some of his fundamental beliefs, but he was not a bad man. I think he was out for the good of America. I think he didn't have the right objectives, but I think Joe Biden did some great things. And when he was in office, I prayed for Joe Biden because he would have made America better, because we should protect our president and stand by our president, whoever elects him, however they got elected. Because I'm an American, I'm for America. I might object to somebody being in the White House, not want them in the White House, but when they get the White House, I pray for them and hope they do good for the benefit of Americans, for the benefit of the American people, for the benefit of this country. I'm pro-American. I love the American flag. I love the sacrifice that soldiers, I thank soldiers for their sacrifice. And if I don't like the president, then I'll go to the next election and vote them out, try to influence other people. But I'm pro-American. And when the president's in office, I support the president that's in office, whether I voted for him or whether I didn't, whether I agree that he got elected legitimately or not. And I wish that Governor Lee would do what's best for the people in the state of Tennessee, but he does not. So Joe Biden, when he was in the office, he stopped the repayment of the federal student loans and stopped students from being exploited by law school deans and these owners of these rich law schools, which was a good thing for him to do. People say, well, if you've borrowed money, you ought to pay it back. And that sounds really good. People got mad at me for taking that position. When I was running for government office, they said they got a student loan, they paid back their student loan, and good. That's good that you did. But just because you got mistreated and you paid back the mistreatment doesn't mean that somebody else that didn't get mistreated, that's bad that they didn't get mistreated. And don't just think about yourself. Think about humanity and the good of all. That student loan program is a farce. It is tax money that benefits the rich at poor students' expense. You follow the money. Don't just say, well, the students borrowed it. Okay, like in my case, I borrowed a lot of money for the student loans, and paid the former Supreme Court Justice of Tennessee the money, and he got a lot of money from California from tax money, and I'll pay it back. It's in deferment right now, and he got a lot of money from student tax money, and and I'll pay it back, but they won't let me practice law, and they got my money. They won't let me compete against them. So why should I have to pay that back? So if you follow the money to the fruition, the people that get the student loan money are the special interest groups of the judiciary, and all across the state of the United States of America, you ought to be mad at the Tennessee judiciary because they rape Californians of their federal student loan money. So Joe Biden did the right thing of putting a halt to that program for the time being. Hopefully it'll continue, because he's stopping students from being exploited. Now they need to get it back from the judiciary who got it illegitimately, but he did. That's a good thing he did. That he stopped students, poor students, from getting exploited, because the judiciary is the one that benefited from federal student loans. So that's one thing that Joe Biden did to benefit the American people. So there's extremes in both parties, and make something good again. So you Democrats caused the shutdown, and I think a lot of them did. I would probably have to go along with that. I don't think President Trump's doing that, but I think he ought to do more than he's doing about it. And so you don't want to be honest. Yeah, I do. Are you Texas Red? No, I'm from Tennessee. So where we can, we're going to do boots on the ground news. And thank you all for listening. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. We got one person who has contributed some money. If you can contribute some money, we're going to do news all across the state of Tennessee. Boots on the ground from a reliable source. It's unbridled, unbought, undoctored, just plain truth, and we'll tell you. So today we covered special interest groups. We'll probably be back on here tomorrow morning. Not promising anything. If you're fortunate, we'll be back on here and tell you a little bit more information that can help society. And thank y'all very much for listening. God bless you all. God loves you, and I do too.